December 1st, we've made it through 2020 goddamn 22.
Yeah.
We have 4 weeks left for all of this shit to fall over and burn down, and it very well could. It very well could. But you know what? No amount of fire or tipping over is going to stop me. Well, no, that's not true. Guys, I love to say that I would do this podcast even if I was on fire. But if I was on fire, you have to at least put me out before we could do the RageSelect podcast.
It's true. Or at least before we hit enter on record.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be doing it. I want to be trying to put myself out while we're recording. Go be like, so hot. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, we're going to get to the news so fast this week because I'm on fire. Actually, that might work. So welcome back, everybody, to a decidedly non-Fuego RageSelect podcast here at RageSelect. I am Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
Yes, and we have a whole weird group of fair listener, what we've got a bunch of damn news stories, and half of them are interesting and the other half are just Jeff not knowing how to, like, you know, it's just me at the news buffet. You know, you go to the buffet,
yeah.
You want to get your $14 worth, and so you're just like, how many steaks can I fit on this plate? And your friends are like, you can't eat that many steaks. You're like, you're not the boss of me. And then you eat 8 steaks and throw up and poop yourself inside of a Golden Corral, and everybody says, sir, you're gonna have to go home. And you're like, I want pudding before I go home.
Yeah, you're just like, can I get one more steak and a roll before I go?
Yes.
And then I'll leave.
I will take all of your macaroni to go, please.
I also want your thing that is ice cream, but not ice cream. It's like
soft
ice
serve?
Or something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, it's not actually ice. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I've never been to a Golden Corral.
Well, Golden Corral has this thing that's like, it's supposed to be ice cream. I'm using quoting fingers. Because whatever it's made of is not ice cream.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of
what are you talking about?
watery substance of some kind. I don't know what
yogurt?
I forgot. It's more of a yogurty type.
Is it
thing.
soft serve? Is that
it's a soft serve still.
Okay, all right.
But like, it's clearly not like ice cream.
Okay.
I forgot what they're called because I actually looked it up years ago. But yes, that thing.
Oh, okay.
I used to eat a lot of those.
Well, there you go. Yeah, never been to a Golden Corral.
Have you ever been to a Golden Corral?
I never will.
I used to go all the time. The last time I went was with Hilario. I want to say before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of steak. It was very similar to the story we just told.
You want to know what I haven't been to in a long time that I really kind of wish was still a thing? It was such a thing when I was a kid, was the Chinese buffet.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Like, used to be that they were everywhere, but now, like, I mean, I've got a lot of Chinese restaurants by my house. I live near Austin's Chinatown, basically, and, like, there's not a lot of buffets anymore. It's a lot of just like, order the thing, you know, here's the dinner special.
I went to one last Christmas.
Uh-huh.
It's the one near that movie theater. I forgot in South Austin. I forgot the name of I forget the name of the street. I want to say the South Gate or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. It's like, it was near the Stastny. No, sorry, it's near the South Austin Conan's Pizza.
Sure.
It's on that same road somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, that one I know exists because I went there.
You're a picky eater. What would you eat at a Chinese buffet?
My brothers were hungry. And they were like, hey, let's go
to this
Chinese buffet.
Just keep putting egg rolls on the plate?
Well, so the fun thing about Chinese buffets is they know that picky eaters exist. So they have a tiny section that's just foolish Americans is the order.
Like chicken nuggets and French fries.
Yeah, exactly. This one specifically had only a couple things.
Okay,
but I did try other actual things at the time.
Okay.
But I wasn't all that hungry to begin with because we had just finished doing Christmas that day.
Wait. Hold on. I just gotta get this straight. You had Christmas dinner. And then later that day, they were like, let's go to the Chinese buffet?
It wasn't Christmas dinner. It was like a Christmas morning.
Okay.
Because my parents don't really do like nighttime stuff anymore.
Okay.
So we went to my brother's, and then my brother was like, let's go watch a bunch of movies. So we watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then we also watched Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
And then there was the third one, but I can't remember what it was. But that's all we did the whole day. Was we all hung out, watched all these things, and then went to the Chinese buffet because we knew it would be open.
Okay.
Because it's like the middle of Christmas, so
because you've seen A Christmas Story, so you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Everyone knows that's how it works.
Well, speaking of Christmas, I watched 2 Christmas things last week. Which would you like to hear about?
Is one of them Spirited?
Yes, one of them is Spirited.
I watched one. So, fun fact, I didn't end up doing the review for one of us because I was doing RageSelect when they did the review.
Oh, there you go. Well,
so we can talk about it.
Come on over here. Let's talk about. So I thought it was okay.
It's fine.
I thought it was okay. Like it was. You know what was interesting? I liked the story.
Yeah, the story is the best part of it.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the songs. Like,
no, the songs are not very good.
There was the Good Afternoon song. That one was pretty fun.
That one was actually probably.
But a lot of the stuff that they were doing, it was just like, I don't know. I've gotten old enough now that I'm just like, people bust into song and I'm like, this isn't a very good song, man. You guys need to go get Lin-Manuel Miranda. I got that stupid "We Don't Talk About Bruno" song stuck in my head, and the only way to get it out was to listen to it on a loop for like 3 hours straight, man. Like,
so I got Dayman stuck in my head.
Oh, Fighter of the Night Man.
Because what happened was that, because speaking of Lin-Manuel Miranda, they finally talked about that episode on the Always Sunny podcast.
Yeah,
and Lin-Manuel Miranda was a guest on it because it turns out he's a giant Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan.
Okay.
And he wanted to talk about that musical so fucking much that he was like talking about the intricacies of the songs and just how much he loves it.
Yep.
I was like, this is amazing.
So, and for anybody who doesn't know, Spirit is an Apple TV movie that has, you've probably seen the posters with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, and basically it's like Will Ferrell plays the ghost of Christmas Present, and there's been other movies and stuff that have done this thing where it's like, oh, the whole Christmas Carol thing is like an afterlife business, like Lucky, like that movie Lucky or something like that, where like all year they have all these spirits that do research and they like put together these presentations, and then like Will Ferrell decides that he wants to change Ryan Reynolds, who's kind of this soulless like corporate ad exec, except that Ryan Reynolds is kind of just too Ryan Reynolds for the program, and ends up kind of getting in everybody's heads.
Yeah, because he's just like, I know what this bullshit is.
Yeah,
and I will have no part of it.
Yes. Well, it did bring up a really interesting question, because they obviously are haunting. They do this every Christmas, and they're in a world where people know the story of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, because they're haunting people consistently.
Right.
And so everyone knows what the point of this is.
Right.
So that's why it's funny to me that like. But it turns out there are people that are considered, what is it, unredeemable?
Yeah,
what are they
unredeemable.
Called? Unredeemable. And I guess a lot of those are people that are just straight up like, no, stop it, get out of my house.
Yeah, but like at the very beginning, the movie starts with them finishing their haunting on Karen from the suburbs, who calls the cops on the kids playing soccer, and it's like, are you telling me that Karen didn't see Mickey's Christmas Carol, Muppet Christmas Carol, like any of the other Christmas carols?
That's the funny thing is, I guess it has to only work on people who don't know what A Christmas Carol is at this point.
Like, I feel like if it was Christmas Eve and I was just like drinking shitloads of beers and I like woke up on my couch and fucking who's Ebenezer Scrooge's like business partner? That guy,
Bob Cratchit?
No,
Bob something.
Is it Jacob Marley? No,
I think it is Jacob Marley.
It is Jacob Marley.
Yeah, it is Jacob Marley.
Who comes out? He's like, I forged these chains link by link, and I'm like, oh, I know this one. Cool. When do we get to look at my childhood? I want to kick my ass as a kid and see if that works. Like,
I want to see if I can steal my Nintendo because I need one.
Let me ask you: at the end, does Death have like a TV face, like in Scrooge, or is it just like, is it Gonzo? Which one is Death?
Is it Death, or is it the ghost of Christmas Not Yet Happened or whatever?
Right.
The actual original name or something? Which one of these is it?
I was actually a little disappointed that Will Ferrell got so much time, and that girl from the Turn Down for What video and Tracy Jordan as the ghosts of Christmas past and future respectively did not get more screen time, because I liked the both of them quite a bit.
Well, that's the thing is like the story is very much about, it's supposed to be one of those ones where it's like, this isn't just the Christmas Carol outright. This is actually about the idea of the ghost of Christmas Present being like, I want to change you because, and I can't say exactly why because it's a bit of a spoiler. But like,
even though they telegraph it so
hard. It super hard, that's like I said, it's the most interesting part of the movie.
Yeah,
is how much is going on with presents, like motivations, as well as even what he wants in life. Yeah, which is weird to say about a ghost, but but that's kind of what the movie is. And then, but again, I can't say too much about that relationship and without spoiling the movie. But it does a great job with giving like different things that could happen in the future that could be considered bad.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, and then you died kind of thing. It was just like, and then something horribly fucked up happens because of something you've done. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's actually way worse.
Yeah. So I thought it was like, I'm a big fan of when companies try to do something different with Christmas movies instead of just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I appreciate the intent. Songs were a little weak. It's kind of a joy to watch Ryan Reynolds do stuff, and like, you know, Tracy Jordan as the Death Ghost of Christmas Future just shows up to fucking spout one-liners. Like, there's a lot of charming stuff going on in there.
It's hard to fuck up comedies when Ryan Reynolds is involved.
Yeah,
and even with Will Ferrell too, because those two guys, for the most part, are usually pretty funny. Will Ferrell's the only one that I'm straight up like, you actually do have a movie that's completely unwatchable that you starred in, which was that Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yep.
Where Ryan Reynolds, I'm like, even when I hate your movies, I still love you in them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other one I watched was the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
I did watch that as well.
45 minutes long. Best thing I've seen from Marvel this year besides Werewolf by Night. I'm a big fan of these 45-minute, not the movie, not a 12-episode show things. Like,
well, it's great when you want more of it and not like cut this fucking down.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like as I was when I watched not Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it wasn't even She-Hulk. There was one of the ones that I can't even remember. That's how many fucking things they've done this year that I watched that I'm like, this is too long.
Right.
You could have made this like 3 episodes and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
It might have been Falcon and Winter Soldier, to be honest.
Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of went on and on and on.
It went on for a long time. I'm like, I like a lot of this, but you really could have cut this down immensely.
Yeah, no, it was charming as hell, and like, and it reminded me, like, okay, so anybody who wants to watch it, just go watch it. This is, I don't know, this is information. I wouldn't call this a spoiler, but like, I forgot how much I enjoy the Drax and Mantis are stupid idiots show, and that's kind of what this holiday special is Drax and Mantis are going to go solve a problem with stupid alien idiocy, and what they do is completely wrong, and it's fucking hilarious.
It's amazing. It's like, it's all just like, it's because they don't take anyone else with them to solve this problem.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, this is a bad thing.
Oh, you too. Oh, no.
Yeah. There's that great sequence when they finally make it to Earth, and they're just like, you turned on the cloaking device, right? Of course. And he like flips it on as they're talking. He was like, I just saw you do it. He's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's just, and this thing's full of shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's really early on, too, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. There's only one issue I had with it, which a lot of people brought up, which is Groot's clearly not completely CGI face that you'll see in the background every now and then that just looks like a creepy mascot.
Oh, okay.
Because it has just it just always has a smile. It doesn't like move at all at certain points. So it literally is just clearly a dude in a suit kind of thing. Like, and so it gets a little weird because you'll see that, but then there'll be like a CGI section where it looks fine. And so it's just a little.
You guys pay a lot more
funky
attention to shit than I do. I was just like,
well, the thing is, I wasn't trying to, but every time, but it kept. He was so much bigger than all the other characters, and he had such a giant smile on his face that I realized wasn't moving, or his eyes, that I couldn't help but like stare at it. Okay. I was just like, oh god, what is that?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely put my vote down for like Disney. I want more of whatever this is, or you know what the other thing that it could be?
Is it because the GoBots are canon now?
No,
that was a hell of a reveal.
I want James Gunn. I'm really excited that James Gunn is running DC because apparently it's hard to find somebody who could just write a story that has a beginning and a middle and a really touching end to that story too. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'm feeling shit. James Gunn, how do you keep pulling out this like now you felt something at the end of your movie?
He does it every fucking movie, and I don't know how he keeps doing it. Like when the Suicide Squad was like, you're gonna love rats, and I'm like, oh my god, you did it, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah. We're gonna make you get a little misty about Idris Elba and a CGI rat by the end of this, and I'm like, no, you're shit,
not.
You did.
It's like Jesus Christ. Like there was more emotion in that entire movie than all of the Snyder stuff combined.
Yeah. Well, let's not go too far down that road, or else we'll be here forever. Let's see. We're about out of time. Anything else that you saw that you want to shout out real quick before we jump into the news?
Nothing I can come up with off the top of my head. I'm sure I watched something. Oh, I watched Glass Onion.
Oh,
I forgot.
I really wanted to watch that, and then I kind of just ran out of time. Is it still in the theaters?
I don't know. It was only there for a week, so it might already be gone.
Oh shit!
But the issue is that it's not going to be on Netflix for like another couple weeks or something.
Until until December 23rd or something like that.
It is so fucking funny.
Okay.
Because the first one I love the first one, but the second one is straight up a full blown comedy for a lot of it that just happens to have a mystery in it. And there's specifically Kate Hudson's character had me fucking dying.
Okay.
Because they'll be talking about stuff and they're just like, yeah, she's this great rebel kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, you know, except for the fact that she keeps, you know, getting in trouble for stuff. It's like, look, the outfit was an homage to Beyonce. And you're like, you know where this is going kind of thing. Like, and she'll say shit like that constantly throughout the entire movie. And you just have to be like, wait, what did she say?
Okay.
And then there's a lot of stuff going on with Catherine Hahn, as well as I can't remember some of the other actors' names. Like I don't know the name of the Edward Norton's like other business partner, because there's a lot of like different people that are, because Edward Norton plays like essentially like an Elon Musk type that's made a lot of money, but it's clearly he's not like the smartest guy in the room at all.
Right.
He just thinks he is.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it kind of funny that it's, you know, it came out now.
Right. Sure. I get it.
And so yeah, he invites all his friends over to like this murder mystery party that he's going to do. One of them's played by Dave Bautista, who plays like a Twitch streamer who used to be like.
Don't tell me too much. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm just mentioning the characters that are there. Like, just Dave Bautista plays this guy. Well, it's just like he invites these people, but that's all I can really say. And then and then murder stuff happens, kind of thing.
Good.
Without saying too much. But the interesting thing is, it all takes place in 2020.
Okay.
So there are like references to the pandemic very early on in the beginning of it.
Okay.
As well as just some like references to things that were kind of popular at the time. But I can't really say too much without spoiling anything, because I didn't even mention some of the stuff in the beginning that would spoil some of it.
Okay.
But it's great. I loved it. I might like it even more than Knives Out.
Wow.
Because I had so much fun with it.
Okay.
Because I love Knives Out, but like the main differences are the tone in them. Yeah. Because Knives Out plays a little more like a kind of a straight mystery that has some humor in it. Mm-hmm. But this one's just a straight humor type thing.
Okay.
But I do like the mystery in the first one more than I like the mystery in the second one, personally.
Okay.
But that's not saying it's a bad thing or not. It's just that it's clear what Ryan Johnson wants to do with these. He wants them to all be different novels in like an Agatha Christie type universe.
Sure.
And I am all for it, and I can't wait for the next one.
Okay. Well, let's put the movies behind us and talk about the movies.
Yes. Let's talk about the elephant.
We had a lot of. There's actually, the day that Michael and I are recording this, a whole bunch of movie trailers came out, but like you got to plan in advance.
There's too many of those other ones.
We're talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Wait, my voice cracked a little bit. The Super Mario Brothers movie or something. Or let me do like Chris Pratt. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Well, you gotta do it like Bob Hoskins.
Mario.
It's me, the Mario.
I am the Mario. So yes, we got several trailers because there was a couple of international ones that came out.
Oh, okay.
But the main one that we got last week showed a lot more.
This was the one during the direct, right?
I don't actually think there was a direct. I went looking for a direct. I couldn't find one.
I thought I found one, but I don't remember.
I think the one that you found might have been the previous one that they did when they announced it.
I don't know. I didn't actually watch to see if there was a direct. I just watched this trailer.
I went on to Nintendo's YouTube channel and I was like, Nintendo, where's the direct for this? And so if there was, sorry, but I don't know. I mean, last time they had a direct talking about this, it was just everybody licking each other's buttholes, and then we're showing the trailer. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Everybody, I think this looks fine. Like, I'm just, as somebody who grew up, who was just like, oh my God, I love Nintendo so much. They should totally make a movie. And they were like, we did. It's called the Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. And I was like, ooh, this is poo-poo on a stick.
It's terrible.
It's like, well, what about, maybe there's one about, maybe it's not about the characters. Maybe it's about people playing Nintendo games. Like, we made that one. It's called The Wizard. And I was like, oh, this is even worse than the other one.
You didn't want the Power Glove, Jeff?
It's so bad. It's so bad. That's just the Lucas was just telling us. We didn't listen.
It was a warning.
We didn't listen. This looks fine to me, man. Like people are kind of. I like all the stuff that we're seeing. We saw Donkey Kong. We saw Cranky Kong. We saw like Peach and the Toads and Luigi. There's some Mario Kart all up in here. Like,
yeah, the thing is, I think this movie looks like it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Because unlike the Bob Hoskins movie, things look like they take place in the Mario universe.
Yeah, yes. I was really, there's a part of the trailer where they literally show, like, what looks like a stage from Mario.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, really awesome visuals that are going on in this. Like, there's this great shot of all the Koopas and the Bob-ombs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's also this great shot of, all the Toads hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the only issue comes down to the voices, because a lot of them are just clearly the person.
Yep.
Because, okay, I love Charlie Day, because I don't know why no one's giving Charlie Day shit for this, too.
Neither do I.
Charlie Day is just being Charlie for Luigi.
Yep.
There's nothing that different for him either, the same way Chris Pratt is. I think the main reason is that they made such a big deal about Chris Pratt being like, it's going to be like nothing you've ever heard before, and then it's just fucking Chris Pratt. But that's the thing. It's mostly the two Mario brothers that I have my main issue with.
Yeah. I think that part of this might have become an internet thing where, like, they announced that Chris Pratt was going to be Mario, and then everybody was like, he doesn't sound like Mario. And they're like, don't worry. I got a plan. I'm going to say, it's a me, Mario. And everybody was like, but that's not Mario. And I'm like, man, I don't not give a shit what Mario sounds like. But I will say that you make a good point, because I went back and watched this before we did the podcast, and it was like, when Luigi opens his mouth, it's fucking Charlie from It's Always Sunny coming out.
It's just Charlie.
It's not. He's not doing Luigi. But again, as somebody who had to watch Bob fucking Hoskins be Mario, I'm a little less picky about the voice of my Mario.
That's the thing. I'm not saying like it's the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
Because again, we had John Leguizamo as Luigi Mario, and Mario, and also the weirdest fucking goddamn
Dennis Hopper was King Koopa. You guys,
if you change the names of every character in that movie, you wouldn't know it was a Mario movie until they put the outfits on.
Yep,
like straight up. Where this one's like obvious, like from the gate. And we haven't heard anything about Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong yet. We haven't heard him speak yet. But Jack Black is fucking Bowser is killing it.
Yeah,
absolutely killing it.
Also, I think it's funny how nobody complains about Anna Taylor-Joy because she's just got a lady voice. So, like,
it helps that Peach doesn't really talk even in games.
Yeah,
because she only says Mario.
But then Mario doesn't talk. It's not like Mario's like.
No, Mario has like.
It's level of 301.
No, Mario. We've all heard Mario speak in full sentences. I told you about that DS video, right? There's a video of Charles Martinet explaining the 3DS in a Mario voice for like 6 minutes. Yeah. And so we know what he sounds like. And he says a lot more than just Mario. He says stuff like, "It's me, Mario."
I don't remember that. Like, I don't remember that one commercial. And in the game, he's not like doing dialogue. I think that's maybe the reason that it's so confusing to me, because it's like I don't need this guy to. All I care about is whether the movie is entertaining. I don't care about whether Mario sounds like Mario or
no.
Luigi
Again, I get
like
it. I'm not saying I care about that.
Yeah,
I'm saying I get why people care about that specifically.
I don't,
because people. Well, it's the argument about voice actors needing more recognition.
Yeah, and
I get that 100%. But sometimes you don't want to hear Charles Martinet for 2 hours as Mario.
I mean, I'm sure Charles Martinet. I'm sure Charles Martinet would be fine as Mario for 2 hours. Like, he would tone it back a little bit and do whatever.
Probably,
unless that's just his regular voice.
No, it's not.
Unless that's just how he sounds.
No, he was actually one of the voices in the latest Dragon Ball movie, and he did a pretty good job in that.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Illumination. I like the Dumb Minions movie. I like the way this looks. Like, they obviously have done a lot of work making it look like the games, which is a first for a lot of video game movies. This could end up being the best video game movie we've ever seen.
I really hope so. Because the thing about Detective Pikachu is that there's still not a lot of stuff going on in it that's like, it's not like they're full-blown Pokemon battles in the middle of Detective Pikachu.
Sure.
And the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, as much as I like them, they're still live action. Like
There were
adding
reverse
people.
isekais.
Yeah, they're still it's still about human characters.
Yeah.
Hanging out with these people. It's not about him being in Green Hill Zone and all those things.
Right.
This is an actual the Mario Brothers are in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yep.
Doing Mushroom Kingdom shit. It's not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe where they end up on Earth kind of thing. So it's like, come on, guys.
Maybe that's the takeaway for Jeff's opinion about movies. Like, I feel like a lot of people over the years, Michael, have tried to understand, Jeff, what is your taste in movies? And I'm like, you'll never figure it out. But one of the things that you can maybe add to your obsessive spiral notebook that you all have at home is that in the 80s and 90s, it was nothing but truly wretched adaptations of beloved things. It was like, oh, do you like Transformers? Well, here's Michael Bay's Transformers. And it was like, this is incomprehensible. Why is this movie about Shia LaBeouf? Like, do you like He-Man? Well, He-Man's going to go to KFC with his new elf friend who just likes to eat disgusting chicken. Like, what?
Yeah. A lot of movies for a long time were like, what if X thing you love was no longer in the thing you loved?
Yeah.
But so they hung out and went to like Burger King or something.
Yep.
And you're like, why? Why do I want to see the Smurfs go to Burger King or something like that? It's like the whole point of these things is like that's the thing with the Mario thing. It's like I want to see the Mushroom Kingdom. I don't want to see Cyberpunk Dennis Hopperverse or whatever the fuck it was going on in that goddamn underworld. Just like I want the Mario world.
Yeah.
Like that's really all you got to do for me to be excited in some way. Like, you guys don't understand how much better this is than anything that was been made
Street
in a
Fighter
very,
the
very long
movie?
time.
Boy, that was bad.
Street Fighter the movie was real bad.
Mortal Kombat was like the best video game adaptation. And even that was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
And then it got a sequel that's so fucking bad.
Oh, it was bad.
And even the latest one. Really, I hate that movie.
Uncharted. Nobody
is
talks
bad.
about Uncharted.
People forgot Uncharted came out this year. I forgot it came out this year until somebody brought it up to me.
Well, that's not even to say that for 10 years before that, there was this Uncharted was floating around as like, okay, so we have the license for Uncharted. I was like, all right, well, what are you going to do with it? We're going to get Robert De Niro, Mark Wahlberg, and Joe Pesci to be like three smooth-talking, like New York treasure hunters. I'm like, that's not Uncharted.
Yeah,
that's Goodfellas with Indiana Jones mixed in.
There's a lot of video game adaptations or movie adaptations based on video games where all they did was they took the title and one person's name and then made a movie out of it.
Yep.
And you guys don't understand. That's what we used to get. You guys don't remember the EU Bowl time frame where fucking Blood Rain is one of the worst things ever made.
Postal.
And
Alone
and there was
in the Dark.
Far Cry movie, for Christ's sakes.
Yep. Yeah.
That you all forgot exists.
It's basically back when they were trying to do superhero movies before they finally figured out superhero movies.
And we used to get thousands of those.
Yeah.
Is what, or not literally, but you know what I mean. Hundreds at least, dozens.
Yeah. So we also, as I mentioned, there were a couple of other trailers. There was a Dutch trailer that showed a bunch of Mario kind of in the Mushroom Kingdom, kind of going in and out of like going in and out of pipes, and there's like a bunch of toads and they're hitting things, like just even more of it. And it all looks a lot like the Super Mario Brothers.
I love the gag in this one because it's that level in Super Mario Brothers 3 where like, where the fuck did these pipes go?
Yeah. And then there was another one. There was a Spanish trailer that was really like low. We have really low resolution footage of that shows a little bit more of Luigi, the scene with Luigi and Bowser, and just a little bit more. In any case, I don't know. Whole thing to me, I'm cool with it, man. Like I'm pro Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I'm actually legitimately excited for this movie because I want this to be good so we can get more movies that actually care about what is happening.
Yeah, I want it to be a smash hit like when the MCU took off, where it's just like, oh, you mean they just want to see us film a movie set in the property they love? It's like, yes, that's what we want. We've been asking for that for years.
That's all we've ever wanted, guys.
And you're just like, well, what if it was live action and bad? And it was like, no, just do whatever you have to do to make it good. Neil Blomkamp's fucking Halo. That never even made it out of the drawing board phase, but it still didn't sound great. Like
we got that's the thing. We got that show. where Master Chief had sex and everyone lost their shit.
Oh yeah, I didn't even watch. I watched like
the
half of one episode.
I watched the first two, and then I dropped off, and then everyone said it was terrible after that. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't continue from here.
We also found out that the internet has gone a little nuts because Donkey Kong has his Badonkey Kong in this trailer, which after the big controversy, this is how I know that this is why I hate the internet. The big controversy about how they nerfed Mario's ass from the first trailer, everybody was like, "Where is his ass?" And it's like, who fucking cares?
It's funny how obsessed the internet is with characters' asses. The first time I ever saw full blown people mad was when they nerfed Snake's ass in Smash Brothers Ultimate. Because his ass used to be like super defined in Smash Brothers 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that one was Brawl. And then they came out with that trailer and they're like, where did his ass go?
You're like, guys.
I was like, whoa, guys. Slow your roll.
Anyway, yes, Donkey Kong has a big old badonk, so that was a good thing. And that, I think, is kind of, I gotta say, I gotta apologize to everybody. That's kind of the best news we're gonna get for a little while, Donkey Kong's ass, because from here, well, I don't know. This one's complicated.
This one is frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it also, I already made the joke I would have made about this last time.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not gonna make that joke again today.
So... there was a Smash Brothers tournament called Smash World Tour. Apparently, this has been around for, 2 years? Started in 2020?
It's been a good while.
Okay.
I think it's been around even longer than that.
Okay.
But because I think this is one of those ones that started up around the time of Melee is what I want to say.
Okay.
Probably not even. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been around for a lot longer than a lot of tournaments, and it's gotten bigger than a lot of these tournaments have ever been able to get.
So they've been running tournaments for a little while, and recently they canceled their championships. And this came on the heels. Let me see if I can think of the best way to tell this story. So these guys have been running this kind of Smash tournament for a while. It was very well beloved. Everybody was really super into it. And they kind of came out with this Medium post where they talked about like what happened. And it appears that what happened was that they were in relatively good graces with Nintendo for quite a while. And the main thing is Nintendo, there was a story that we talked about a little while back where there was one tournament that got shut down that was using hacked in netcode into one of the Smashes, which Nintendo, no bueno with that.
Yeah, because one of the things that Nintendo hates more than people just doing like unlicensed tournaments or people doing unlicensed tournaments involving modifying the games, because that's one of the reasons Project M tournaments never ever got off the ground. Because do you know what Project M is? So Project M was that when Smash Brothers Brawl came out. Because speaking of that fourth one,
the patch that added in like netcode to it.
Well, no, it was that they edited it. They changed a bunch of the mechanics for the game. Because people were mad about, one, the tripping. Two, was like some of the stuff involving the dodging was changed, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
They made it more like Melee is really what happened. And then they added a bunch of characters to it, a bunch of skins, stuff like that. Stuff that clearly was not designed for that.
Unofficial.
Super unofficial. You could find it at not tournaments. You could find it at a lot of like anime conventions, for instance. A lot of places people would bring their hacked Wiis and then show it off there. And it was a super popular thing at the time. And every single time they're like, we're going to do a tournament, the second Nintendo took a whiff of it, they showed up like fucking madmen and just like they shut that shit down immediately.
Yeah.
Because it was a modified version of all their stuff. And they're like, look, guys, like, this is like, we don't want you doing tournaments to begin with, but this is like beyond like fuck you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things that made Smash World Tour. So that's what made it easier for Smash World Tour to get not away with stuff, I guess, to be under the radar a little longer.
Yeah.
Is the fact that they never ever touched anything involving the games.
Okay. So they basically were running, their various. They had this long running tournament that was in a bunch of different places, and they were getting ready to do their thing. Now, last year it was announced that Nintendo was partnering with this company called Panda Global to run official Smash tournaments. Now, during this time, the organizers of Smash World Tour were in contact with Nintendo, and Nintendo was like, listen, this isn't a problem. Like, you don't have to worry about us shutting you down. It's going to be fine. But then the villain enters. I wish I could do fucking Daniel Craig's Foghorn Leghorn voice.
I wish I could do that voice in general because that's a fun voice to do.
So apparently the CEO of Panda Global first came to Smash World Tour and tried to basically like snap them up into their organization. They refused, at which point they said, well, then I'm going to call Nintendo and have them shut you down, and you'll rue the day that you ever crossed this panda. Apparently, though, there was also a lot of kind of skullduggery where this person was going around to other Smash tournaments, trying to essentially absorb them into this Panda Global organization.
Yeah, the main thing a lot of people were saying is that they wanted to be a monopoly of Smash Brothers things, because it's really difficult to get Nintendo to say yes to any of these things.
Yes, and so they were doing that. Now, okay, I want to just point something out here because I think I may have sussed onto something. This is my read of the matter, so I'm injecting my own commentary here. In this, I read the whole Medium post, and in the Medium post, they talk about having communications with Nintendo. They keep saying, we contacted Nintendo. They said, because like they contacted Nintendo to say, hey, this Panda guy keeps saying you guys are going to shut us down. He's going around fucking saying that we're a bunch of yahoos, and Nintendo keeps saying like we're just hired these people. They're not like part of Nintendo. Don't pay any attention to that. It's not going to affect what you're doing. Yeah. Now, I think that if you go back and you read that Medium post and you substitute the word Nintendo with like Carol. Like that they had a contact at Nintendo. There was somebody that was sympathetic to them and whatever. They don't want to name them because they don't want to get them in trouble or anything. No. But that this person was trying as hard as they could to be like, to then whenever this Panda asshole would show up with his bullshit, she would go to the people that were already edgy about doing this and be like, look, guys, this guy, these other guys, don't worry about them. They're just running this little fan tournament. It's not a big deal. It's going to be bad press if we shut them down. Let's just leave them alone. And then like next year after they do their finals, we can come back, etc. But then on the other hand, it seems like you've got this Panda guy that is just like consistently like, no, fuck them and their fucking tournament. I'm going to close down the rec center and I'm going to do it to bulldoze this entire neighborhood and put in my own personal water park or whatever. Like
it's okay. You remember that the fact that I'm already referencing this because I don't even know when it's coming out. Soccer Story. So we were playing a game.
Same day as this
the same day. Yes, so if you guys have watched the Soccer Story thing, it's very similar to that.
Yeah,
just the idea that all of a sudden this guy shows up and he's just like, now it's our shit.
Yeah,
no one else can play the soccer. But
nobody touches Smash Brothers in this town without my say so.
It's literally that, except toddlers did not beat us up this time.
Yeah, and so then what happened here, and this is such a weird thing, is at the end of all of this, right as they were about to get their finals going, they've been going back and forth with Nintendo about getting approved, like to be an approved tournament.
Yeah. And
Nintendo basically, right at the very end, right around Thanksgiving, a few weeks before this was supposed to happen, came out and said, no, we have denied your approval. You're not approved. And then they also had language in there that was like, and people that aren't approved by Nintendo can't run Smash Brothers tournaments, and et cetera, et cetera. So they canceled their tournament, and they put out a Medium post saying this, at which point, I think this is so weird. I think this has to be fucking Carol or somebody from HR, where it's like, Nintendo put out a statement saying, we didn't say you had to cancel your tournament. We just denied your approval as an official tournament. And it's like, right, but you also stated that you have to have official approval in order to run a tournament. I personally think that fucking Carol managed to get them to say, don't approve them, but don't shut them down and just let them run that last tournament. I'll fend off this Panda asshole. Like, let them finish their tournament. These are just good kids who like your game, and they're just trying to do this thing. They raised enough money. They've got sponsors. It'd be really shitty to turn them down now. So I think the thing is that they said that, and then they expected the organizers to just be like, oh, okay, well, go fuck yourself. We're gonna put on the show anyway. We're gonna do it at my dad's garage. Like, we don't need your approval. But that the organizers that got real spooked by the fact that they were denied this and shut it all down. And I don't know. I've got a lot to say, Michael. I've been ranting for like 10 minutes straight. Like, what how are you feeling about this?
Well,
like,
yeah, because I read this whole thing too, and the funny thing about it is there's so many responses.
Yeah.
Because okay, normally when you read a news story like this, it's usually the one guy's response, and it's usually the first, like for instance, the organizer's response, and then it's Nintendo's very casual, like, we don't really want to talk about this kind of response.
The corporate version of a middle finger.
Yeah, the corporate version of like, well, fuck you guys, it's our stuff anyways. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Usually that's what we get out of them, because that usually happens with fan games a lot of times.
Yeah.
Where somebody's like, I'm gonna make this thing, and then Nintendo's like, the fuck you are.
Right.
And then it's just the guys who made it going, well, Nintendo said no, so we can't. But then what's interesting about this is they were like, well, Nintendo says we can't, and we don't want to piss off Nintendo in case we have the ability to do this later.
And then Nintendo's like,
but then Nintendo was like,
I didn't say you couldn't.
Nintendo's like, I never said that. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, you said here that we're not allowed to do this. And then they're like, well, I don't know. You took that the wrong way, kind of thing. Like, it's weird because it's like, it's literally a conversation happening
in press releases.
In press releases instead of just them emailing each other like a normal conversation. And it's fascinating because these guys don't want to piss off Nintendo, but Nintendo also
doesn't want to piss off the Smash
is
fan
in a
base.
weird defensive position. Because what's weird about the response is that they said that Nintendo said that they're aware of the backlash they're going to get.
Yep.
But Nintendo's responses seem to be that they're not aware of the things that are happening.
So here's where I am with this, Michael. On the one hand, I think it's a little stupid of the Smash World Tour people to do anything without approval from Nintendo. Like,
well, it's the age old thing where it's just like, well, just keep doing it until somebody says no.
Right.
The issue is that they did it for so long that hundreds of thousands of dollars made its way into the issue.
Yes.
And then that's when they finally said no.
Yes.
And then that's when things went horribly wrong.
It's one of those things where it's like, or if you did want to do this while being on the hook, because you know what, like, I don't know, I don't know any of these guys. Maybe they're fine. I don't know them.
No, they all seem like really nice guys. It's just that, they were playing a dangerous game.
What I was going to say was that they seem super young in the Medium post, or not super young, but like younger, where it's like, well, what was your plan if Nintendo didn't approve your multi-$1,000 tournament with all the sponsors and stuff? What was your contingency plan for when that happened? And it appears to be just like, shut it down, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, just shut it all down.
Shut it all down.
Shut it all down. Now, on the other hand, I think
they came for a containment unit, Jeff.
I think that if Nintendo's read on this was, we are going to not approve them in order to keep this Panda guy from getting all mad at us, but we're not going to tell them to cancel it in the hopes that they're just going to go ahead, that Nintendo needs to look at their history of really aggressive legal action in order to go, like, if Nintendo came to me and was like, we noticed that you put Mario in a thumbnail, and I'd be like, well, what would you like me to do, Nintendo? To delete the whole channel?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to send the guys with the guns to my house dressed like Mario? I don't know what's going on here.
They're going to send those Koopas with the hammers.
Yes, exactly.
And they're just going to be outside, like, do that thing where they pat it on their hand, staring at you through the window, and you're like, oh, God.
Like, Nintendo is not a company with a sense of humor who is gracious when's crossed. So the idea that they could just be like, well, we didn't tell you to cancel it. It's like, yes, you did. Like, by saying, we have declined to approve you for sponsorship.
Well, it's a mobster way of doing it where you're like, well, that's a nice tournament you got there. I'd be ashamed if something happened.
Now, there's actually a third thing here. There's so much, you guys, if you know, this is so the culmination of like so many things that I've seen on the internet over the years. There's a part of that Medium post right up before they get declined for the approval, where they talked about how their tournament was coming up. Nintendo was very distant about getting back to them, and they became more aggressive about asking whether they had the approval to be able to do this. And I think that it's possible that fucking Carol was like, she was just looking at these like, you guys got to quit emailing me. Like, if you don't email me, then I don't have to say no. Like, if you just like, you say like, well, we asked and nobody got back to us, and like, oh, yep, that's our bad, fucking oopsie doodle.
Yeah.
But then they were just like, Carol, you got to tell me, Carol. And then, she's like, well, then no is the answer.
I've got
like,
boxes full of Pepe, Carol. I need an answer.
Yeah. So, it's a weird thing. Again, I do put a little shit, like, so many people are like, man, fuck Nintendo. I definitely get the people who are like, fuck Panda. But
yeah, because after this, I was reading a bunch of different stuff about it as well, because I got really curious about what's going on.
Yeah.
And a ton of people were just like, I'm just going to boycott Panda's shit.
Yep.
Like, I'm just done with this fucking bullshit.
Unfortunately, as we well know, that will probably send the wrong message to Nintendo, where they're like, I guess these nerds aren't interested in official tournaments. Shut it all down. And don't let anybody else do it either. Scorch the earth, salt it, burn it and salt it. The end.
That's the thing about this whole. That's the saddest thing I think about this entire endeavor.
Yeah,
is that this is the closest Nintendo's ever been to just like finally being like, okay, we see you guys. Now you can start doing things, because Smash wasn't even at EVO last year. Or it was this year, I can't remember. Either way, it wasn't at the last EVO, which is a big fucking deal, because a lot of times I think there were another ones of those ones that they're like, well, Nintendo didn't say no and they didn't say yes. We're just going to do it until they tell us not to.
Right.
And it's obvious that they told them not to this time around, which is one of the reasons why Multiverses was like, well, we're kind of like Smash. What do you want us in there?
Sure.
That's what they did. They put Multiverses in that slot.
Better than Brawlhalla.
Yeah. And so it's just like, yeah, this is a situation of just Nintendo not understanding. They never understand.
Yeah.
That's why their fucking way of playing online games to talk to each other is an app on your phone,
right?
Because they don't understand how the internet works.
The entire Wii U was like, was you using friend codes on the Wii U? Were you to like, or was that just
you
on the
still
Wii?
Use friend codes?
Oh, you still
to this?
Well,
somewhat.
no, not today. You can search.
You can somewhat search, but a lot of it comes down to like being connected on Facebook and stuff.
Oh,
you still really need a friend code if you don't have like a way of just adding them that way.
Yeah,
but it's still Nintendo's never figured out online gaming.
Yeah,
which is why. Tournaments aren't really doable online either.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be done physically, which is one of the reasons why Smash World Tour got so fucked, because they had all these venues for it, and now they owed all these they probably owed money off of these contracts to be there, and now they have to pay like a thing to be like, hey, we're not gonna, we need to get out of this. So it's just, I don't know, its whole thing is fucked.
I have a lot of sympathy for a lot of people. Just always remember that, like, if you decide, hey, I'm gonna make a new Metroid game because I'm such a big fan of Metroid and I want to make my own fan Metroid game, like, you must be aware that if Nintendo finds out about that before it is 100% completed, it's gonna get shut down. Yeah. So like, the thing is that I don't know how you would, even if you were like you talk about Evo putting Smash in and then being told not to put Smash in, right? But Evo is like a whole organization, whereas these guys were just like this one thing. So if this was where you were hanging your hat, like, I feel like you really need to come up with contingency plans and not be put on the back foot when some bad shit happens, because when you're dealing with a company like Nintendo, there's a very good possibility that bad shit will happen. Even if you have somebody like Carol there, the fictitious Carol that may or may not even exist, like...
Well, the hard part is coming up with the contingency that's surrounding literally like a single franchise.
Sure.
You can't just be like, oh, did we say Smash Tournament? We meant punching thing...
Multiverses
thing or whatever. Like, you can't just change the thing up all of a sudden. Well, like you said, unlike Evo, which is an organization that's just a series of fighting games.
Yep.
So if one guy says yes, there's another fighting game in the corner going, ooh, me, kind of thing.
I mean,
so yeah.
I think I can think of a few ways to do that, but like, again, you have to take that into consideration, right? Like, I know there isn't just a Smash Brothers that you can fall back to, but by the same token, you need to have a backup plan that isn't just shut it all down and get fucked, right?
Yeah, the issue is that they were so contingent on it going through that they just... The fact that the last minute they didn't have any way out of it is unfortunate.
Yeah,
and I feel bad for them all.
I do too.
Everyone involved.
I for one, I'm going to boycott all of Panda's Smash tournaments, just like I boycott every tournament that is streamed online.
Yes, that's how I'm boycotting the World Cup right now.
Yes, exactly. That I was totally going to watch.
That I was totally going to watch until, whatever's happening. I don't know. People can't drink or something. I don't know.
There's a lot more to it than that, but
there is. But I didn't look into it. That's the joke. I don't actually know.
Well,
because I don't care.
Speaking of horrible shit that I have looked into, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. So Sonic, they put out a roadmap, Michael. They put out a 2023 content roadmap for Sonic the Hedgehog Frontiers. They're putting in a jukebox, a photo mode, new challenges, Sonic's Birthday, Open Zone Challenge, New Coco. I don't know what half these things are. And the third update, playable characters and new story. They're basically turning Sonic into a live service game, even though that game did not seem to me to be live service at all.
Yeah, this roadmap it looks more like a live service set of updates instead of just like, hey, here's some cool DLCs they're coming out with.
Part of it, like, jukebox and photo mode, those are things that should have been in the game from launch, guys.
Yeah, but that's not the first time we've heard of a photo mode getting added after the fact.
That is true.
God of War, the 4 had that happen to them.
That's true. I'm not hammer. I guess the thing is that it's just like.
But the thing is, Sonic's Birthday is the thing that's like, what does that mean?
I don't know. There's currently a Santa costume that you could download if you load up Sonic Frontiers.
That hat looks terrible on him, by the way.
I like.
I think it's the positioning of it that's weirding me out.
I think it's maybe me that's wrong and not the children, because apparently everybody loves this thing enough that they're looking to cash in on multiple apparently it made enough money for them to have 3 seasons of updates planned for it.
Well, here's the thing. Sonic fans love Sonic the Hedgehog so much that when this game came out and got like a 70 on Metacritic, everyone lost their minds like it was the second coming of Jesus, because they were like, the game's not like -40 for the first time in like 10 years or something. I don't know, probably longer.
Yeah.
And so they're just excited that they have a game that they can be like, look, a C. I'm like, I'm proud of you guys.
It didn't burn me this time.
Yeah.
My hands didn't get hurt.
It only like stung a little bit.
Yeah. So, what is this? I'm sorry. I was just looking at Twitter. This is okay, fine. People making memes about
game
how
of the year things.
Sonic Frontier is game of the year over Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok. Like, listen. This is why I hate Sonic, is because it's like, if it was all you have to do is imagine this game, if you just modded a different main character into it, you wouldn't be calling it a good game. It would be trashware that was on Steam. Like,
this is a passable Sonic game, and I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take away Sonic Frontiers from you.
I am. You won't know. No, you don't. And you know why? Is because they deserve better. This is a mascot who has been this franchise has been abused by money-hungry fucking like Sega executives for like 30 years now, man. Like, they've just been doing nothing but fucking you guys in the face with shitty Sonic games, and you keep just opening your mouth wider. And like, it's the same way I feel about the Arena Fighter anime games, where I'm like, you know how many animes would make fucking dynamite video games, like super great video
100%.
games, and yet they just crank out this trashware, and I'm like, no, guys, throw it on the ground, step on it, and say, I demand more for my fucking hard-earned money that I'm giving away my life for than this C+ that you gave me. You keep giving me C+. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed in you. Like, give me a better game.
It's fair. It's completely fair.
Hire me, bitch. I'll make a better Sonic game for you.
I don't think you would. You don't know enough about Sonic, I feel like, to make that game.
I don't need to know anything
It would just
about
become God of War.
You know what? I'll hire some nerdo. So there's somebody in our Discord that asked if they could come to my house when we played Sonic Frontiers. I'll get them to write the story. What I know is what game mechanics are fun and not fun. That's what I know. So
I don't know. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Good luck with that, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm only in here for his movies now.
Well, speaking of going real fast, we got the news this week that Gran Turismo might be coming to the PC.
Really?
Yeah, for the first time basically ever.
How many are they up to now?
I think this is 7.
7?
Yeah. I don't know if Gran Turismo Sport counted as 6. I think
Wait, is this the one where they kept fucking up all the currency on it or something?
Oh yes,
that's right. I remember that.
This game, like, if you ever meet Bryce Castillo in real life and you don't have anything to talk about him, you just be like, so how do you feel about Gran Turismo? Because when we're not recording, Bryce has a lot of very strong feelings about Gran Turismo because he really likes racing games.
He does. If I run into the Bryce again soon, I'm tempted to do that to him now.
But yeah, this was asked by GT Planet if they would consider a PC version, and the head of Polyphony Digital, Kazunori Yamauchi, said, yes, I do think so. Now, the one thing that he said was that they wanted to be really careful because Gran Turismo is incredibly finely tuned to run like as good as it possibly can on the PlayStation hardware, and so they wouldn't want like Gran Turismo is a real like. It's a real fancy game, right? Like,
yeah, that's why they only make so many of them.
Yeah, like it's all just like, oh, we handmade all the seats in this game with virtual stitching or whatever, and so they don't want to put it out on the PC and have to have you run it at like 480p with everything turned down to low and get 20 frames a second out of it and be like, oh my god, this is total trash. Like,
yeah, they're very proud of their work.
So it seems like that's a little bit of a concern, but other than that, the dam is open, right? Like it's no longer like one little thing of water coming out. PlayStation games are going to be on the PC eventually. Like they're just making too much money otherwise.
Yeah, we're in a new age of things, and Sony finally is like, you know what, we can make more money off of these things if we finally come out with some of them.
Yeah.
On PC, and it's because it's not like it's going to stop the sales of these things on PlayStation.
Yeah,
because not everybody is a PC gamer. Because if they were, they probably weren't, playing PlayStation to begin with sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
not everybody has built their life in a way to have 100 monitors and like 8 game stations sitting in front of them all day.
Exactly. I know if I finally introduced PC gaming into my life, you just would never see me.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I think we got time for one more of these before we take a break. I can't tell because we had a little technical glitch before, but Australia has introduced an Australian I don't know what do they have over there, barrister or like some guy, a Dundee in the Australian government.
Talking about a government like rep of some kind.
Yeah, has introduced a bill that would basically...
To Parliament, I assume.
Yeah, like outlaw loot boxes for children, basically.
Gotta stop those kids from spending the dollary dues.
Like if... well, this is just becoming offensive now.
You should have known I was going to say that.
That's true. I should have.
If not, you were going to. I guarantee it.
So, yeah, Andrew Wilkie, an independent, introduced a legislative...
That's not a real name.
...bill to... I'm sorry, Andrew Wilkie... No, on November 27th. It's called the Classification Amendment, and it would regulate games that feature loot boxes, requiring them to be clearly labeled as such and carry an R classification. Now... it's worth noting, one, in case anybody ever forgot, Australia's fucking nuts about video games.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
there's a lot of games that have never come out down there because
they refuse to classify anything with like drugs or anything with like too much violence.
I don't even think the last Mortal Kombat eventually came out there.
I'm not sure entirely because, I assume that the RageSelect podcast is also against the law to listen to in Australia. I don't know if we have any Aussie listeners. Like, first let us know how offended you are and then tell us how it is down there.
Was The Great Expectations the one where they go to Australia?
I don't believe so.
It's been a while since I've read Charles Dickens.
They go to Australia in a Charles Dickens book?
Yeah, because he's like, his mentor like was thrown in jail, but he ended up becoming rich in Australia or some shit.
Oh.
I don't know. It was a whole thing.
So, but what's really interesting about this that I didn't know, this is reading this Game Rant article, was that apparently Australia has a gambling problem.
Really?
Like they lose billions a year on like slot machines that are everywhere.
That's
like
interesting.
Just their citizenry just pumping cash into slot machines directly into the pockets of like gambling companies. And so they look at this as like the loot boxes are just a gateway drug for then the kids to grow up learning how to gamble, and then they're just going to go dump money into the slot machines like everybody else is. We got to keep the gambling away from the kids. And I'm like, well, that actually makes a certain amount of sense.
It does, to be honest. Yeah, because the thing about loot boxes just does help. Sorry, not help, but it does accidentally train their brains to have the idea of like, but maybe the next one will be like that hit,
right?
Of like euphoria,
anticipation, release, that kind of thing.
Yeah, gambling is just that, except a lot of times it involves money.
Yep.
Instead of skins for a character or something. So I don't know. Like I get it. I really do get it. And the thing is, it's funny that it's coming up now while gaming is slowly moving itself away from loot boxes. So even if it does pass, it probably won't affect that many things now.
Well, the thing is that I feel like the games that we play are starting to move more to battle pass systems like Overwatch or Call of Duty or the things that you normally see on RageSelect.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that like fucking FIFA and like NBA 2K and like a lot of those sports games are still just like,
well, they're like card packs,
super card pack heavy.
Yeah. But they might be able to argue against them being they're like more card pack like instead of being like a loot box. I don't know.
Maybe
they might have an argument that they might try to use.
Australia
on them.
doesn't take a lot of shit though, right?
They don't. but there are like card packs and stuff that I assume that still get sold down there. So they might, like I said, they might have an argument against it nowadays.
You remember that story that we had a long time ago where that one like Dundee or whatever in Australia had like a bunch of anime girl figures in his office and it was like a fucking national scandal?
It was, yeah. I remember that. It was really funny.
Yep. And with that little tidbit, go look it up. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have, actually we don't have as many stories as I thought because this is all the news stories we have and then we've got trailers and so who knows? Who knows?
A chunk of them were Mario related, right?
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of news this week. I was scrolling back through the news and I was like, is that it? And then I thought maybe I should just fill this up with crap news. And then I was like, nah, we'll just do whatever we feel like. Maybe we'll get to the end and we'll just rant. We'll rant about a fictitious Sonic the Hedgehog movie directed by Zack Snyder and just completely blow this shit to the ground. Anyway, we'll see you back here in just a minute. I'm sorry about the dangling participle on that outro for the first part. I meant to say something and then just my brain, it all flew out of my brain. But we're back.
Blame Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, I just got so mad. I was thinking about Sonic and I just was filled with the rage. Anyway, there's some more news.
Yes.
So in the latest, I tried to put a bunch of other stories ahead of this because I'm tired of RageSelect. I'm tired of RageSelect just being the fucking Blizzard and Microsoft show every fucking week. But
it's their fault for fucking up as much as they do.
It really is. And for being literally like I just over time. 69 billion just becomes some number that you're thinking about, but it's like, no, that's a shitload of money.
It's a shit ton of money, and you also want to say nice every time you hear it.
Yeah. The latest in this particular story is Reuters talking to the European, reporting that Microsoft's apparently been talking to the European Commission about various concessions that they can essentially put forth to let the deal go through. And one of those that has been talked about is a 10-year contract with PlayStation for Call of Duty. So literally guaranteeing that Call of Duty will be on the PlayStation for 10 years.
Yeah.
Again, a lot like last week, I feel like this is just Phil Spencer is like, we're not going to do that, you guys. Like,
for the love of God.
Like, please don't do this. We've done all this work and like, I don't care. Yeah, have Call of Duty. It's fine. We just want the mobile games division.
Yeah, every interview he does, he's like, for the love of God, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like if we cared about that, then Minecraft would have been exclusive a very long time ago.
Yes. Hopefully this will douse a little bit of it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because this is the European Union, but last week we had the story about like literally the FTC might be like filing a suit to block this. So,
well, the thing is, the FTC is the most powerful they've been in a while.
Yeah,
because because the last 4 years before that point, they had a president who was just like, I don't care what you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, we want the government to do things about tech, and they're like, well, this would be pretty easy to show that we mean business.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because there's so many other sales up to this point that was basically routine, that all of a sudden Call of Duty became the battle of all battles.
Yeah, it became like kind of emblematic of a lot of the problems that we're seeing. So, so we'll see if that manages to assuage the issues the European Commission has.
It's also Xbox being like, look, if you can survive for 10 years and we decide to stop after that, good on you.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows what that shit's gonna look like in 10? I'll be 55 years old.
Exactly. We'll all be very much older than we are now. By then, we probably won't even be playing PlayStations for all we know.
We're just all jacked into our Stadia 5s that are just brain powered, and you just like the game just comes up in front of your eyes. Like
we got that iPhone from Futurama on your eyes, kind of thing. Just playing games off of that.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, yeah. Who knows? There probably won't even be an Xbox by then, for all we know.
Who does know? Let's see. In other news, EA EA has patented a weird thing. Now, I want to make sure to say that this is not like EA is getting ready to do this. This is a patent that EA filed. EA also filed that asshole patent, remember last year or whatever, that was like talking about matching you with people that have DLC guns and like looking at your like win-loss and trying to like pair you into places to push you into microtransactions.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, but this one is really weird. This one it wants to, like, I don't know that this is a problem, but okay. The problem that EA is trying to solve essentially is if you're playing an online multiplayer game, adversarial game against somebody else, who's playing Battlefield, you're on team A, I'm on team B, right? But we have a secret agreement not to kill each other. And so if we run into each other, we don't kill each other, and maybe we even work together a little bit, or we like rat out the other team or do whatever, like secret spy shenanigans. And what they've patented is a system where like an AI will like look at all of your playing data and corroborate it with publicly available like social media data to try to figure out if you are in cahoots with me and then punish you, or at least bring it up to a person who then reviews that evidence and decides whether or not we should be punished. And I'm like, is this a problem? Is this a problem that you need to devote resources to?
So funny thing is it is a problem in real life. The reason I know this is because I would used to play with people all the time who used to say stuff like this constantly, where they're like, I'm pretty sure, they would say stuff like, I'm pretty sure the guy on our team who keeps blowing up our truck kind of thing is just like he's part of a lobby of friends who just didn't get added to the other person's team,
and so they're
salty about it, and so they're sabotaging us as a means to just be like like stupid shit like that, because I've seen it with my own eyes, kind of thing. But you can't really prove it, but usually it's those guys who like all have like the same kind of name or sort of thing,
like a clan tag,
and then for some reason that dude is just being kind of like a team killing asshole, kind of thing. And so like you'll see some stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a widespread problem. I'm saying it is an issue that has come up in real life, which is why it's because you don't play a lot of multiplayer games the way I do.
Not really.
And even then I don't play the way I used to. But when I remember there were times when I would play and that would happen. And the last time I remember my friend actually doing that one time, because we were all playing Halo and he ended up on the other team. And I was just like, bro, could you do me a favor and like rocket launch that tank? And he's like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. And then he would he team killed his tank, and he's like, lol. And then we just moved on because we're all a bunch of young dumbasses. And so that it happens. It's just that I don't think it's a widespread enough problem to make an AI on it, kind of thing. Because you can just kick the guy, kind of thing, if you know that's happening.
Sure.
But, especially nowadays. But like, it's just a little weird.
I guess I don't want it's the part where the AI goes outside of the game and starts looking at your social media posts to like corroborate, like
that's when it gets creepy.
Friends with somebody, and then it looks up their EA tag, and they're like, oh, when you guys were in a game together, you didn't shoot him in the head when you had the shot. Take the shot. Just some AI, like a guy, some AI voice in your game telling you, like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did you shoot that tank with a rocket launcher? What are you doing? Come on, I see what you're doing. You better play right, or we're gonna get rid of you.
If anything, this will affect Eric from Internet Common Etiquette.
Oh yes,
and his many team killing videos.
Well, he always just does that in VR games. And
That's true.
He's got a legitimate excuse. The guy just can't hang on to grenades, you know?
He keeps dropping them. He's a clumsy man.
He is a clumsy guy. I don't know. I don't like the idea. I like AI for some stuff. Like, I actually, like, I really kind of like some of the AI stuff. I made a. Did you see it? I made a Kratos Mario yesterday.
You did not tell me that, but I've seen a lot of people using the AI stuff. Like Grant made like an animated version of himself.
Yeah,
with an older version of him too.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pretty cool stuff.
I made a Kratos Mario.
That is horrifying
in Midjourney,
but also very impressive.
Yeah, I actually did some photoshopping to kind of get it finally right. But anyway, I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of a computer judging me, Michael. You can't judge me. Only God judges, okay?
Well, this is how the war on the machine starts.
That's what's written on the Latin script across my back. It's only God judges. You guys never see me without my shirt on. You never see my back. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
It's covered by hair.
Speaking of AIs doing naughty stuff, The Sims is apparently cracking down on naughty things in the Sims player creation gallery.
That sounds about right.
I'm not entirely sure what this is, but apparently it's like there's a lot of big boobed avatars and like rooms with the furniture arranged as like a dick, or like I don't know what it is, but apparently you Sims motherfuckers need to get your minds out of the gutter and clean up your act, because EA is, they're not taking this shit anymore.
No, it's the thing in Mythic Quest. What was it? The seconds to penis or something?
Oh yeah, time to dick. TTD.
Yeah. If you give them something to draw, they're gonna draw a dick with it.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep. Yeah, as long as they're not using an AI, as long as they're not. I don't want to be censored. I don't want my AI smut set AI censored smut. Boy, that just got away from me. I don't know what
it really did.
About.
The AI attacked you.
Yep, I got intercepted by Midjourney. Let's see. In other weird fleshy news,
this one is pretty insane.
Yeah, this is a very weird story. So, okay. There's a fiction project by this guy named Trevor Roberts called Mystery Flesh Pit National Park.
Which is an interesting thing to begin with.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of this until now.
Yeah. And it's kind of like this weird, so it's like in Texas, this weird fleshy, like Sarlacc maw kind of Lovecraftian corrupting the land around it thing happens, and being Texas, they're just like, let's sell tickets, boys. And so this is like a fiction project that they're doing, that he's doing like on a blog, on a website or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He's been doing it for a while, apparently.
Yeah,
and it's very intricate.
It's gotten a lot of press buzz. So last week, apparently, they announced a Kickstarter for a game based on this. The Kickstarter started up, and there was going to be made by a little company called Village Fox Media. I actually looked them up online, and they mostly do just like, I don't know, they don't seem like a game company. They seem like more of like a media company.
Oh, okay.
But they were going to be set to do this. And apparently, after a little bit, the Kickstarter was canceled. And the statement that was put out was really interesting. So this is Robert saying, to those who were looking forward to a video game, I apologize. Most people do not fully appreciate what a substantial undertaking it is to produce even a modest video game. I personally and carefully created each and every piece of the Mystery Flesh Pit project, but something as large as a video game is wholly beyond my scope as an individual artist. When I am not the one directly responsible for overseeing its creation, I cannot ensure its quality. After this experience, I can firmly state that there will be no endorsed video game adaptations of the Mystery Flesh Pit as long as I am alive. I sincerely hope that by canceling this overly ambitious Kickstarter campaign, I've avoided what could have been a rushed and inferior gaming experience at best and unmitigated disaster at worst. It is also my hope that my decision to endorse this particular Kickstarter does not harm or hinder the superior work of other credible, talented creators that are and have been working hard behind the scenes to bring you a Mystery Flesh Pit tabletop gaming experience late in 2023. So it's not often that we see a Kickstarter. Normally, like, it's, the Kickstarter either like fails or it completes and then it's a shit show. I don't know that we've seen that many things where it gets canceled and then the creator is like, not only did I cancel it, but we're never going to make a video game.
Yeah.
No matter how successful this shit is. Fuck video games. I don't even like them anymore.
It's an interesting statement, because it's like, it's one thing to just be like, well, I just didn't believe that we could do it. Instead, it's like, not only do I not believe that anyone could ever do it ever, if as long as I'm alive, it's never ever going to happen, which is a crazy statement to say to be at all.
I don't know. Did you end up reading like the statement from
the actual like developer
from Village
team?
Fox?
I did.
So that was really weird. So they put out a statement where they're just like, so we don't really know what happened here.
Yeah,
like
we were like really excited. He seemed really excited.
Yep.
And we're pretty sure like what he said isn't about us though.
Yeah.
Like we kind of get what he's saying because I get it as well. Like there's a lot of things that people will make that people are like, I'm going to make a video game based on this very beloved thing.
Yep.
And then but it rarely ever turns out in a way that people wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Like not everything is Arkham Asylum.
Right.
Like, and that's really what the guy was like. I don't want anything unless it's literally like that level of beloved kind of thing.
Right.
And he's like, so they're like, well, we get that like maybe he got cold feet at the idea of that, but it's just weird because we don't feel like he really conveyed this to us.
Right.
Like it's crazy.
It seems like they were kind of like out of the loop.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really know that like the Kickstarter went live and then like maybe it just didn't hit its funding goal within the first 12 hours. This guy was like, you know what? No. In fact, no, never again. Like,
yeah, because they have a part of the statement where they're just like, yeah, we think he just kind of got cold feet at the idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember the exact wording, but that's basically what they're saying. Because they're like, look, we had all these great ideas for like even how this campaign would go.
Yeah.
We had a whole AR game idea that we had for the Kickstarter itself with like all these cool Easter eggs and stuff. Like they clearly cared about what they were going to be doing. But like it seems like when they were finally like, hey, here's like kind of our prototype of what the game is going to look like, his mind was probably saw an indie game and then was like, this isn't what I wanted from a video game.
Right.
And just lost the shit because he was expecting like, for some reason he thought like a specific amount of money would just get him a AAA game, not realizing that's not how Kickstarter games work for the most part.
I mean, I cannot emphasize enough that like I found these guys' website and they do not seem like a video game company.
Yeah.
Like
this is probably one of the first things they've ever were gonna do.
Yeah. So it's very weird. Yeah, the quote in question. I think Trevor just got in a bit of a pessimistic spiral and let it get the better of him. Again, no hate. It's a lot of pressure to put something like this out there, and I was certainly feeling the pressure as well. So I don't know. Yeah, it could have been a thing where he just kind of got up in his own head, like watching the numbers go up and like thinking about, stretch goals or things like that.
Yeah, because there are times where somebody makes a Kickstarter and they didn't really know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened here is that he was like, I have a specific idea in my head and I want people to make that, but I didn't realize how much money it actually took and how easy it is to mismanage something like this.
Yeah.
And it could go horribly wrong. And I don't want to even go through the process to see if it goes well or not, because I just don't think this is a good idea is really what it sounds like. It sounds like me when I'm like, I have an idea for a story and I want to write it.
Yeah.
And I start and then I'm like, oh, this seems like a lot of work kind of thing. And then you just stop.
Yeah.
Like that's all it comes down to. And that happens to a lot of people.
It's possible they may have started up the Kickstarter because, as I understand, the Kickstarter didn't have a lot of going on to it. And then they were like, hey, come to this meeting. We've got those prototypes ready. And then you can put them up as an update to the Kickstarter page. And they showed him like what they were planning. And he was like, oh, no, it's trash. I hate it. It's like pixel guys and not like fully 3D renders like I wanted. And then was like, nope. Shut it down.
Because a lot of Kickstarter games are always just going to look like old, like those pixel indie games that we always play.
Yeah,
they usually end up looking like that because they don't have the money to fully make a 3D model that looks like something that would be on PS5.
It takes a lot of money and time to make video games.
Yeah, it takes a ton of money. A lot of people don't realize how much money, especially now.
Yeah,
video games cost way more now than they've ever cost.
It's also possible that this might have been a thing where he realized how much control he was going to have to give over to them on a daily basis. Like he was either going to have to like stop writing and produce the game, or he was going to have to cede control of his little bespoke thing to other producers.
Because it was also kind of part of his statement where he's like, look, I'm just a writer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the fuck any of this means.
Yep.
Like, and I think he got overwhelmed and then he got scared and then he's just like, he doesn't want something attached to his name to be bad no matter what.
Yep.
And that's why I think he's more excited about the idea. Like, that's why he mentions the tabletop thing. He's like, it's harder to fuck up a tabletop thing than it is like a full blown like video game. And I get being shy about that. So
yep.
I wouldn't be mad at. So what I'm saying is, don't be mad at the guy. He didn't really know what was going on.
Also, it's not like it's not like a Kickstarter statement as a binding contract.
Exactly.
And you're like illegally forbidden from ever making a game. Like,
yeah, he can change his mind at any point. Like, so for all we know, one day like EA or something's gonna walk up to him with like a check for like millions of dollars, going, "Hey, we have an idea for this," and he'll probably finally say yes. Who knows?
Yeah,
that does happen.
Also, though, again, this is a tiny company. It's like 3 guys in Alabama. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you look at some of their video stuff, it's like, no, it's not, even if you made a 3D game based on what you have here,
yeah,
it probably wouldn't have been that impressive to begin with.
Yeah. Let's see. In other disappointing news, well, disappointing for some people, apparently GPU shipments last quarter were down 10% over the last few years, which is pretty big.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah. This is a Schadenfreude story where I'm like, oh, really? Because GPUs are now like the cost of several PlayStations, and like the 4080s are catching on fire, and you want like $2,000 for them. And the last few years, your cards have been completely unavailable to the home market because you've been selling them to crypto miners, which are now completely worthless because they worked them to death. And now like the crypto is gone, and you've got these new cards, and you're just like, why won't anybody buy our $2,500 video card? It's like because they bought $600 PlayStations, and they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
Like you've created this like incredibly overhyped and underserved like market. Like, you broke video cards. Like, the cost of video cards is more than I've ever seen in my entire life. And granted, they do some cool shit.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like since 2020 for like 2 years, you had to have like a bot to buy a video card for a while there. Like,
yeah, there were so many video cards that were being made that people were just... I remember my brother trying to get some of these, and him just like desperately trying to hit like add to cart, and check out before the system was like, the thing you had the cart's not even there anymore. Like, it was nigh impossible to get anything, even like the lowest spec ones kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these things were like, that's why people for a while I knew kind of stopped building PCs for a bit, because they couldn't find jack shit.
I mean, that's the reason I bought a pre-built PC, was because it came with a 3060. So, but yeah, but apparently the sales may be down 10%, but the actual profits are up because they cost so much goddamn money these days. Like, but also, NVIDIA just announced that they are halting production of the 2000 series and below RTX cards in their entirety. Great. Good, cool, glad. I really hope that at one of these, I really hope that AMD comes in every so often. Like, you know, AMD needs to come in to remind Intel and NVIDIA that like there are other options that are not like going to stab you with how expensive they are.
Yeah, and the fact that they had like one specific option that they're like, where people are like, hey, this kind of doesn't make any like sense name wise, and they're like, that's a good point. We're just not gonna make it now.
Cancel the cheaper one.
Yeah.
Cancel the cheap one.
Now it's dead.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a bit of an overreaction. They're like, I don't care. Buy our $2,000 one.
Yep. I really hope that the
Don't you people have money?
The problem. I hope the bottom drops out of the whole overpriced. Well, especially because of the fact that the new DLSS and ray tracing is only available on the like $1,500 video cards.
Yeah.
And it's just like, guys, I mean, we're gonna get to a story later about they put out the specs for that RTX portal, and they're ridiculous.
They're pretty high.
Absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, Splinter Cell is back in radio drama form.
It's back in POC form.
Yeah, apparently the BBC Radio 4 is doing an 8-part Splinter Cell audio drama that you can listen to starting in early December.
Oh, that's fascinating.
The only question that I had was, Is it Michael Ironside? And the answer is no, it is not Michael Ironside.
Is it the most British person they could possibly get?
It's Andinus Anthony. That sounds like a DC supervillain name.
It does, yeah.
I don't know who Andinus Anthony is.
Wait, hold on. I think I know who that guy is. Click on his picture.
Let's see. This one with the mustache?
I think I know who that dude is.
Oh, wait. I think I might have seen this guy in some stuff.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I can't put my finger on, but I know I've seen that guy somewhere.
Ooh, let's see what he was in. Let's go down this hole together, everybody. Let's see. Das Boot, The Worst Witch, Nightwing, Creeped. I've never heard. He was in Snatch? No, he's in the Snatch TV.
The Snatch TV
There was
show.
a Snatch TV series?
There was. Did you not know about that?
I did not know about that.
Yeah,
he was in Assassin's Creed Origins?
I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, he was in that Whack-Fu thing.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that guy's going to be voicing
I know
Sam
I've
Fisher.
seen him somewhere, but that's a weird choice.
I don't know. I like me some BBC shit. I wonder if it's going to be I don't remember if it was going to be on Spotify. Let me search this article.
Well, BBC, they tend to take a lot of their radio stuff fairly seriously.
Yeah.
I found out there was a Star Wars radio version at one point, which I didn't realize for a long time. And I found that out because I found out John Lithgow did Yoda in it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's fascinating.
But he just did it as John Lithgow. Like, it was he put anything on it.
That would be funny, but yeah. No, he talked about it on the Graham Norton show or something at one point.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I found out.
Yep. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to give this a listen and see what happens. But let's see from there. The Witcher. We have some news about The Witcher. The first Witcher, actually, that they're doing the remake on. Apparently, this is not just going to be like a direct one-to-one remake. They are actually remaking the entire first Witcher into an open-world game like The Witcher 3.
Oh.
So they're actually taking it and redoing it in a way that kind of makes it more congruent with the other games. I guess Witcher 2 wasn't really open world. It just had like kind of little big areas, like zones that you would go to. And you kind of wander around in the zone, but it wasn't like a one big world that you could kind of go between places in. So
Not that I know, but I never played the first two, like, ever. I didn't even know The Witcher was a series until the third one came out.
Yep. I played the second one. I beat the second one.
Really?
It was good. I liked it quite a bit. But the first one I never played because by the time The Witcher 2 had kind of gained a foothold and The Witcher 3 came out, The Witcher 1 was looking real rough around the edges.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
The Witcher 1 was a fairly old game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is interesting. It makes you wonder if this does well, if they'll go back and remake The Witcher 2 into an open world game and then have all three of them as like a big open world trilogy. So,
I feel like it would be a waste not to at this point.
yeah. Let's see. Cabaret Club is coming back to Yakuza. Pretty sure that this was taken out around what, Yakuza 3 or 4 or something like that.
That sounds right.
Out. But apparently, Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name, the weird Yakuza game coming out next year that bridges the gap between Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 9. 6, 7, 8. 8.
Oh, okay.
The one where the guy from Like a Dragon and Kiryu Kazama join forces, where he's got the bleachy
that's right.
hair.
Yeah.
Like, because right now he's like in super secret agent hiding.
Yeah.
Like,
which is fascinating, to be honest.
oh my God, I love it so much. But yeah, apparently that particular feature is going to be back in that game. So huzzah for everyone who wanted to do that.
Yakuza is such an interesting series.
It's very weird.
It's what Shenmue wanted to be.
Yeah.
I will say that 1,000 times over, Shenmue fans.
Yep. And you know what? Like, I think we've got some. So here's the thing, Michael. There's like a 2-hour. Todd Howard was on this podcast, this Lex Friedman podcast, for like 3 hours last week.
Oh, Jesus.
And he talked about all kinds of crazy shit. Like, and so we've got some kind of tidbits that came out of there. Some of it is talking about like, I picked a couple of things. One was that they talked about how Starfield was going to be using like a combination of procedural generation, but with like more manual adjustments for all of the planets, which I think is something I think a lot of people were worried about. the number of planets they said there were, and that it was going to be like a No Man's Sky thing where you're just going to come and it's going to be completely empty. But apparently they're trying not to make that the case. There was also some news about how like they're really trying to make sure that you don't have to deal with like air and gas and food and things like that, because it would get in the way of the fun in Starfield.
Because they don't want it to be like a full-on simulator. Like they want it to be like, hey, this is just like it's just Skyrim but in space, or you don't have to feed the horse and brush the horse like you do in Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of thing.
Oh my god, I got so tired of fucking doing that. So tired.
So too. Yeah.
Also, Todd basically said that that Indiana Jones games that Machine Games is making, like he's wanted to do that since 2009.
Oh my god.
Apparently, like he went specifically to LucasArts to try to ask them to make an Indiana Jones game, but at the time LucasArts was the publisher for LucasArts games. They wouldn't relinquish the publishing rights to Bethesda, who was a publisher at that time. So they couldn't do it. So he's like, so we went and made Skyrim instead.
And actually, the other thing is, around that time they were making Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, which was the last game they were going, which originally, okay, this still frustrates me to this day. So when they were making Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, they made this whole engine that they were very proud of, and there was this whole video that they came out with, I think during the E3 at some point. They're like, look, if you throw a guy at like a car, it always gets a different reaction. And then they canceled it and they used the engine for Force Unleashed. And then so all we got were the inferior ports, because they were going to be like the port versions of this game for PS2, Wii, and DS. And so that was the version we got of Staff of Kings, and it still bums me out to this day because those games are not very good.
Sounds like a bummer.
Yep. But I'm very excited for whenever this one comes out, because I want Indiana Jones. I want more Indiana Jones stuff that takes place when he's not an old man.
I'm glad that Machine Games is making it and not Bethesda.
Yes, I'm very glad Machine Games is making it, not Bethesda. But I'm curious now I didn't think about this until now, with Bethesda owned by Xbox now. I guess maybe it's an Xbox thing. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to play out.
Probably at least be on Game Pass.
Either way, I'm going to be able to play it. So I'm very excited because I fucking love Indiana Jones.
Well, speaking of video game movies that I know how much you love, another thing that we found out about last week was we got some trailers for a brand new Starship Troopers game.
Oh boy. Is this also like that terrible fucking game we played?
The RTS? No. It's a little better. It's a first-person shooter, and it's a.
Oh, okay. Now you got my attention.
Yep, and it's a but it's not like narrative. It's a squad-based thing.
Well, now I lost my heart on.
Where there's going to be, it'll be like you have several classes, and there'll be four different four players co-op. But one of the kind of cool things is that apparently you're going to be able to like build the bases. You're going to have like engineers that can like put up walls and like create like forts and stuff.
That's interesting.
The problem, of course, is that I think that Starship Troopers in a lot of ways is like, I just was thinking about this today, and I think that Starship Troopers is a lot like Alien, where we're all there. They get so hung up on the iconography that they forget that like the reason that we like those movies are because of the characters. Like, yes, watching the guys shoot the bugs were cool, but the reason that we go back and watch it is because of Casper Van Diem and fucking what's her face, Denise Richards and Dizzy and that other douchebag guy and Doogie Howser,
Gary Busey's son or whatever.
Jake Busey.
Yeah, Jake Busey.
I was thinking about the pilot guy that's trying to get Carmen's pants.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name, but
the most 90s haircut of all time. Yeah,
that's the funny thing about that's the funny thing about Starship Troopers, because the movie Starship Troopers is so anti-fucking war that it's hysterical that you would make a game and it'd be like, look how awesome war is.
War is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Because I found out this years later, because I never read the book, but I found out the book is hella pro-war. So I guess this is more faithful to that if you think about it.
Yeah, I think the problem is just that like they get too hung up on the military stuff. Again, I feel like a lot like Aliens, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They keep making Aliens games. It's like, guys, all the drop ships and the xenomorphs and the colonial marines, that stuff's all great, but the reason that Aliens is a good movie is because of Ripley and Newt and Burke and fucking Hicks and Hudson.
Well, that's the reason I'm always worried about the RoboCop game that got announced. But that's why I was a little more alleviated because of the way the trailer was. But because of it, but like if the writing isn't there, then the game kind of you lose a lot. So there's a lot to be desired, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and that happens all the time with licensed games, where they're just like, "Look, isn't this awesome?" It's like, not really, because all the things that I like about it aren't here. Like that Ghostbusters PS4 game that came out when the 2016 movie came out. That was a twin stick shooter.
Oh yeah,
It's like, don't you love these characters that didn't exist until this game came out, and this terrible ass writing and this terrible ass like everything else is like, you guys lost me immediately.
Well, it's like I could, but this sucks.
Yeah, the whole thing is terrible, from the writing to the characters, the gameplay. Like, you've lost everything in here.
Yeah,
because I'm very easily pleased by things that I like. It doesn't take a lot for me to love, like, not even love a thing, but at least like a thing.
Yeah.
So when you fuck up, you have to fucked up pretty bad, and it's done. It has happened before,
and it's so weird to me because I look at this and like all of the like we're looking at this, like it's a very short trailer, so we were just watching it on repeat, but like all of this looks fine. It's just that what I need now is I need a story on top of it, like a story of a young man or woman, do a character creator, and then do the movie. Just do like, okay, you're joining up with the mobile, you got to choose mobile infantry or fleet, and then there's like different game modes that you can do, or
that was the one thing I kind of liked about Spirits Unleashed, was that it had, even if it's not a long story, there is a story to it.
Yeah,
that is like, hey, you joined the Ghostbusters after the afterlife happened, and now you're like trying to train to become a full-fledged Ghostbuster. I'm like, that's a nice idea to have somewhat of a story in there. It turned out to me not be that long, but you gave me something that I liked, and it made me like the game enough. Whereas if they came out with that game and there was nothing at all attached to it, I'm sure I would have gotten bored with it pretty quickly.
Sure. So yeah, I don't know. This one, I mean, it like looks good, but it also looks like something I would get really bored with.
It looks like it'll be fun if you know a lot of people who will be willing to do this with you.
Yeah,
but I don't know a lot of people I can convince to be like, you want to play Starship Troopers? Like, because all the people I know who love Starship Troopers, again, like you said, watch the movie because they like the characters,
right? Not
because they want to kill Bugs dead,
right?
So it's like, I don't really see myself getting enough people for this one.
Yep, I agree. So that was a little disappointing. What was really, though, more interesting, did you watch the trailer for this Infinity Nikki game?
I did not. I was going to, but I forgot.
Okay, so it's this is a very weird game. Apparently it's being made like one of the ex-producers for like Zelda or something like that. And it's like pretty anime girl walking around, and the whole thing is that you change into different pretty anime outfits that give you different powers. So there's like this one that lets you like jump and kind of float, and then there's like other ones that let you like attack stuff, and then like you just kind of wandered around this like this kind of crazy world doing a little magical girl stuff, and like this is just kind of like a concept. Like it's definitely not like actual footage. But
like it's too cutscene-y to be like actual gameplay for a lot of this.
But it looks really cool. Like it kind of looks fun. Like, you turn little and jump on top of this cat's head, and then you got to do a little thing where you run through like a cave and do some platforming challenges, or there's some like here's some kind of light combat, and I don't know. Like it's really nice looking.
Well, here's the thing about it is that it reminds me of, funnily enough, is Balan Wonderworld.
Okay.
Because Balan Wonderworld had the idea of like, what if you had all ththese different outfits that did different things in this crazy little world? And it's like, this feels like what Balan Wonderland wanted to be.
Yeah.
But because it still has the goofiness going on with it.
It really does.
But there's a lot of like really interesting ideas in here.
Yeah.
And if they can make it work more than Balan Wonderland did, or Wonder World, because again, they really should just name it Wonderland. Then it actually has a lot of potential that way.
Yeah. And it's all just like very nice and high production and looks good. Like this concept thing, if they can make it look anything like this, looks very nice. Little main character is just kind of a generic anime lady, but it's all very twee and very cute and very kawaii and shit. Like,
yeah. Also, depending on like what's actually happening here, you could get you can get a pretty good hit out of this probably.
Yeah, the sort of thing that could definitely be like a kind of weird breakthrough. Just like, hey, check this out. It's fun and it's lighthearted and it's enjoyable. And
it's so different from a lot of the gritty things that keep coming out more and more lately. And I think we need more colorful, weird things again.
Yep, I agree. Looks very weird. Let's see. From there, we got our trailer for season 2 of Overwatch, Michael.
Yeah.
There's a but. We're not talking a million years of Overwatch this week. We're just gonna say like there's Ramatra, the new hero, is in. There's a new push map that's in Nepal, I believe. And then there's like going to be a new little event where you can get these kind of these Greek god skins for a bunch of different people.
And the skins are actually kind of cool looking, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Junker Queen's got like a Zeus. There's a they're pretty cool.
Like a Medusa one.
Yeah. Widowmaker has Medusa. That one's really cool looking. But yeah, I mean, all this looks fine. I guess I just have to play Overwatch, though.
That's kind of the issue. I don't want to do it. Like, the game's like, hey, you like Overwatch? I'm like, not really. I'm like, oh, okay.
Actually, I'll tell you what it is. I don't like Overwatch. I like Blizzard's art team. Blizzard has a very good art team.
That's a good way of putting it. I used to love Overwatch, but then one day you guys decided you didn't like me anymore.
Oh, man, I really do like that.
Yeah.
That, what is like... Hermes, Hermes Lucio.
That is a pretty cool one,
and it's like you can see that the things on his hat are the color of whether it's the speed or healing.
Oh yeah, I didn't
probably
think about
change.
that.
Like they're all green.
That's really cool. Like there's some really cool outfits going on in here. Like Reinhardt's got like a Minotaur outfit. Who's got the Neptune one? Is that the new character?
Ramatra, the new guy. So
there's some cool stuff going on in there.
And then also they're coming out with the Christmas. They show a little bit of the Christmas stuff. It's kind of, I think, the same Christmas stuff they've had before. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to play Overwatch like a big dork, you could. Or you come on board the fucking Gundam Evolution train, because that shit came out this week on the PlayStation. I love this trailer because they literally intercut the anime with the actual game assets. Like,
it lets you know where they're from in a really cool way.
Yep. It's really cool. My dog wants
because I know there were some times where we were playing it before. We're like, I don't remember which Gundam this came from, kind of thing.
Yep.
And they do a good job of intersplicing some of the newer.
It's a cool trailer, man. Also, this game is just what Overwatch used to be, and it's got Gundams in it, and you don't have to worry about like esports pros trying to come in and dick up your game. You can just go play a fucking fun game with a bunch of Overwatch weebs. So,
although it's got some pretty nasty monetization stuff going on in it.
Well, okay, that is. Well, actually, does it?
In some ways, apparently.
Because
I was reading up on them talking, because a friend of mine sent me like all these stats about what it would take to get the red outfit for the red, like the char color for the Zaku, and it was like fucking insane.
Yeah.
But that's really the only like downside to it.
But the thing about it,
but it's all outfit stuff is the thing. It doesn't change. It doesn't change like attack stuff.
So one of the things that it does is, I don't know if you remember, because I didn't realize until I installed it, was that a lot of the mechs are locked, and you have to unlock them with the in-game currency. So
yeah, but that's a little different though. Like, what I was talking about was the outfit stuff though.
Yeah, but the outfits all suck.
Well, that's the thing.
For the most part, they blow.
Yeah, they
chunks.
mostly suck. But that's the reason why like it was an issue that one of the only cool ones took forever to get, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I loaded this up on the PlayStation. I couldn't find a place in the store where you could literally buy the currency.
There wasn't. Yeah, that was the surprising thing about it, because when I found it, it wasn't even like buy the Founders Pack that comes with like all this currency. It was like, just download it. I'm not gonna fucking. Yeah. There's not a buy option. I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to play a little bit.
Plus, the character I want to use is always unlocked by default, so I'm not really worried about it.
There you go.
Or the mobile suit I want to use.
Street Fighter 6 is having a second closed beta test. So we got a trailer announcing that. This is happening December. What is it? 16th through the 19th.
Everyone who's played the first closed beta for it says only amazing fucking things about this.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for when this game finally comes out.
Yep. How do you get into the closed beta test?
Oh, you had to sign up through the Capcom site, I think, at one point. And I forgot that I didn't have an account for it or something. Or I did. I just don't remember to get into it. So I just didn't try.
Okay.
But I don't know about the second one. I don't know if that's part of the same thing or not.
Fair enough. Gotham Knights got a big update, Michael.
Ooh, a game that I forgot existed.
Yeah. Apparently they put in a 4-player co-op challenge dungeon end game challenge thing.
Okay.
I thought that the whole game had 4-player co-op. Apparently that's not the case.
No, it was originally a 2-player thing. I don't know if maybe this is the first 4-player thing.
Yeah. It's like a challenge. Okay. What it is, I've literally have watched this trailer before. It's just the Avengers Endgame content trailer, but with the Gotham Knights instead of Avengers, where it's like all the bosses are back and they're in a boss rush mode. That's not true. Starro is here, so they were able to stick Starros on the boss's faces to reuse them, as opposed to the cloning lab that they had in the Avengers.
Okay, I guess that makes some sort of sense.
I mean, at least they've got stupid Starro faces, which is okay.
Honestly, that's better than making them clothes.
Yeah,
because at least you're actually fighting them, and it just happens to involve Starro.
Yeah,
because I always like Starro. Starro's a fun character.
He's a real silly guy. But yeah. And then also there's like some kind of 2-player co-op thing that has been added, another kind of like challenge thing. I guess the question is just really like, well, is it the loot economy? Is that what you're doing? Are you trying to do end-game raids to get better loot? This isn't a MMO. It's like a single-player video game. Why are you doing this?
That's the tricky thing about Gotham Knights is I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's supposed to be a live service game or if it's supposed to just be a normal co-op kind of thing. I don't really understand where it's going.
Because it seems like they're trying to cash in on Avengers' popularity, quote-unquote popularity.
Which isn't all that popular to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I tried out the Bucky thing last night, and it glitched out on me.
Cool.
Where I couldn't get past the first objective in the game to do Bucky. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent job, everybody.
Yeah, it was kind of fucked.
Yeah. I don't, before you guys put out your Starro 4-player endgame raid, I want you to fix the performance of Gotham Knights so that
holy shit.
It runs better.
It's already on. It was on sale during Black Friday, and I did not get it because it was like $40.
Have no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm waiting for it to be like $15, and then I'll buy it.
Yeah.
So because by then, maybe I'll have some fun with it.
We got the launch trailer for Midnight Suns. I kind of forgot about Midnight Suns because it's been.
Well, I thought it got delayed further on, but I guess we're at the point where some delays finally started coming out.
Yeah, by the time this podcast goes up, it'll be out.
I actually really like this trailer because it's the most I've understood of this since they announced it.
Yeah. And it doesn't show you any turn-based combat. It's all just like cutscenes and stuff.
It's actually kind of funny because I see a lot of comments where people are like, I would rather wish this was just a movie, to be honest, because this would be a pretty cool movie if you just use this animation.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything I've seen of the story I really like, and then I like Firaxis's turn-based strategy games. So
because they put a lot of emphasis to the character interactions, because that was one of the things I remember them talking about, which is like, hey, we want you guys to be able to have a lot of story, and a lot of camaraderie with these characters, and I think that's probably the coolest thing they've got going for it.
I agree. I think it looks great. I really want to check it out. Just mostly because, I don't know. It's one of those things where, we went through the Marvel, I don't know. I haven't been a big fan of the current Marvel stock movies, the TV shows.
Yeah,
have been real hit or miss for me.
It's been about 50-50, and there's even the good stuff has a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
I finally got excited again because we got a Guardians trailer that we're not going to talk about right now. But, but it was the first time, and it hit me that I realized how long ago it's been that I've been actually excited about something Marvel that wasn't, because there was a large Marvel game drought. A lot of people forget about that. There was this giant thing from right after the first phase where we just stopped getting tie-in anything, or even licensed Marvel games.
Yeah,
for a while.
Same with Star Wars.
Yeah,
like they were putting all that. It was just like there was very little, and then when stuff did come out, it was like they hung all their hopes on garbage.
Yeah,
like it was like, oh, Battlefront 2 or the Avengers game.
the Avengers game. That was the first big Marvel thing we got that wasn't Spider-Man related since like. I want to say the Wii fighting game, which was fucking terrible.
And so now it seems like they're just kind of like backing off a little bit, letting seasoned game professionals do the games that they're good at doing.
Yeah, licensed games are on an uptick, especially because somebody asked James Gunn, "Hey, are we going to start getting DC games again?"
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, we might look into maybe doing some tie-in game stuff." I'm like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
yes, please." I don't even care what it is. If it's like hell, if you make a Peacemaker game, I'm fucking all on board for it. It's just gonna be crazy.
Oh man, because you know that John Cena would be just fine going into the voice booth for
John Cena. I love John Cena so much. That man is down for anything.
Yep,
I love him.
Yep. But yeah, this looks really good. I can't wait to play it, and it comes out. Actually, I think by the time this comes up, you and I are going to play this next week. So we'll see what happens.
I'm legitimately curious because because I hate these types of games.
Yeah.
But if I have fun with it when we play, I may end up considering it.
Well, the thing is but you played Mario Rabbids.
That's why I'm saying. Because Mario Rabbids, that was the reason I played Mario Rabbids, because we played it, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I played it, and I'm like, this is amazing. So if I ended up having some fun with it when we play it, I may consider it.
Good. Succumb to the tactics RPG
because I'm legitimately curious about this thing's story. So
yeah. We got a big launch trailer for Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion.
I didn't realize this was coming out this soon too.
Yep, this one comes out. I believe it's December 13th. So not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after.
God damn, December is way more loaded than I thought.
I mean, all this bullshit, fucking Final Fantasy Marvel. Well, we all know that we're really looking for Choo Choo Charles, right? Like, Choo Choo Charles is really what everybody's in for.
It's exactly what everyone wants.
Wait until the next video about a game that I bet you didn't even know came out that is already out when we're recording this. But
interesting.
Anyway, this one was this was like a lot of like the Marvel trailer. It was very story heavy. Which is great because the story of Crisis Core is batshit as fuck.
It's crazy as fuck. It also has a lot of one-winged people in it, which I always thought was interesting that it did.
The origin of where Zack got the Buster Sword that then Cloud got, that's a whole thing.
Zack's story is so much more interesting than Cloud's, and Crisis Core really sells that more so than anything. It also has the Octo Slash, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Because he's not strong enough to do the Omni Slash, so he only does the Octo Slash.
The deadliest slash. Yeah. So I don't know. This all looks really good. Like every time this comes up, I say it, but like they did a really good job with this remake. I wish Square would do more remakes of games that look this good, where they don't touch anything and they just put the game out. So. Yeah. All right. Guess what came out last week that even I forgot about?
What came out?
That Front Mission remake.
Oh my god, is that out?
Yeah, it totally came out last week.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I didn't care enough about it to pay attention to it. So.
Yeah, I didn't figure that you did. They put out a game overview trailer basically showing that there's a couple of different ways that you can play the game. It's got kind of a classic mode where it was like a locked camera. And then there's a new mode that gives you more of an overview. And there's also, they remix the soundtrack and stuff like that. I don't know. I definitely am interested in trying this out because I do like a good tactics RPG, but this one does look real rough around the edges.
Well, the issue is that it's such a faithful remake that the animations are too faithful.
Yeah.
And so it would be and then he fires and it's pew pew.
Yeah.
It's I guess it's a little weird because the animations feel like it came out of a PS1 game still. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what this is even a remake of. Time Wave Rise.
I think it might have been a Super Nintendo game.
So it feels like it's the kind of thing where I'm I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So that's out. November 30th. Wasn't even in December.
Jesus. Yeah, God. Yeah. Well, that means it came out
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
as of when we're recording this.
As we're recording. Yeah.
2 Point Hospital, 2 Point Campus, not 2 Point Hospital. 2 Point Campus is going to space.
Ooh.
There's a space add-on for 2 Point Campus, Space Academy, with 3 new areas, with new classes and different places to send your students. And there's one that's even on the moon where you can get aliens that come to your thing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a Starfleet looking thing.
Uh-huh. Guess when this game comes out? When this expansion comes out?
Is it like next week?
December 6th.
Oh,
yes,
shit,
it is next week.
Oh, fuck. So fast.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was a thing. Boom. 2 Point Campus.
Make
Space
it so,
Academy.
they say.
And let's see. Nope. I was going to say last up on the trailer parade, but we got we finally got another trailer for Goodbye Volcano High.
Is this the real one or whatever?
Yes, this is the real one. This is the one that was announced for the PS5 a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know if people know about that, but like,
yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about that. We talked about it very briefly.
Did we? Okay,
that's how I found out because you told me about it.
But did we talk about it on the show or did we talk about it off the mic?
We talked about it on the show for some reason. Like, I don't remember why.
There was a weird thing where a bunch of like kind of trolly internet people basically made an anti-fan version of this game. They took all the character designs and then they were just like, it's too woke. And so they made like a real horned up like visual novel where the main character is just a guy and like the dinosaur girl with the titties wants to fuck him real bad, as opposed to this whole like, we're all 16 and the meteor's coming. I don't know what to do with my life. And then like an indie rock song plays. But like, it's really weird that happened.
Yeah,
like,
it's super strange. Like, that's like, I can't think of anything else having anything remotely close to that ever happening.
Yeah, it was very weird. Y'all should go look it up. But I don't know. I think this game looks pretty much like it showed a little bit more of like kind of choosing dialogue. It shows that there's like some kind of rhythm-based like mini games that you can do that kind of tie into the thing. Apparently, they've spent a lot more time working on like custom animations and like adding stuff in. Because basically when that whole thing went down, they just kind of like put their heads down and went, nope, we're going to just do this thing as hard as we can.
They wanted to just make sure the game actually was good.
Yeah.
Like we can fight this later if we wanted to, but yeah.
Yeah, and this trailer looks, I mean, it looks like what it is, right? Looks like a kind of an angsty teenage visual novel.
Yeah. And, good for them for eventually finally going to be able to come out with this. So.
Yeah. And that's coming out in 2023. What does it say? Summer. Yeah, of 2023. So
hopefully it does well enough that people even forget about the other one.
I hope so. And let's see. Our last trailer for this week is. Did we all forget about Far Cry 6?
I did.
Did we all forget about Far Cry 6?
It was really cheap at one point to buy, and I was like, no, I'm good.
This is the 6th of December, the same day that the 2 Point Campus thing comes out. DLC for Far Cry 6, which that Far Cry has these like really bombastic DLCs, is coming out where Danny, the main character from Far Cry 6, gets like shoots like a interdimensional space traveler and gets sucked into this weird like alternate dimension where they're trapped and they have to get out, and it's got like weird, it's like constructed of their memories so they can reuse assets, but then it's got weird Doctor Strange like things duplicating and like crystals and weird physics and stuff like that, and then these monsters that all have like crystals glued onto them. And there's like, I think there might be a roguelike element from the description that I was reading to it.
Okay.
Like,
well, that is a little sad, actually.
It's just so weird that it's like, oh yeah, right. There was like a whole Far Cry, and it made me realize that I actually think I kind of like the Far Cry stuff. Wait a minute. The DLC for Far Cry 6 was
all the villain stuff,
right? The Pagan Men,
stuff.
Joseph Seed, what's his face? Definition of Insanity, Voss.
Yeah, Voss. Because we did the video on that one.
Yeah,
the Voss one.
So this is like a second set of DLC.
Yeah, this one seems to be like their story as DLC, which I know I feel like they had something like that in the past, but I can't remember outside of Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Well, they definitely, I mean, for 5, they definitely had some more specific stuff, whereas the villain stuff was a lot more run-based. I don't know. I'm actually kind of tempted to check this out because I feel like whenever Ubisoft doesn't give a shit about a thing and they just crank out something that they're contractually obligated to do, that like their development teams can actually like be creative and do whatever they want because they don't have people breathing down their necks. So I don't know.
It looks interesting as a thing. It looks like the most interesting thing they've got going for that game.
Yeah.
And maybe it could be cool. I don't know, because it actually seems to be a story thing.
Yep. Let's see. Part of that Todd Howard interview that I was talking about was him talking about the release date for Elder Scrolls 6, which is apparently a long way away.
I'm not shocked by this at all.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you should buy Skyrim again, he said.
He says, I have a vague idea about the release. I wish it was soon. We want the game out. I wish it didn't take as long as it did. They didn't take as long as they did, but they do. If I could go back in time, it would never have been my plan for it to take as long as it's taken. I assume that's probably referring to the entire slowdown that was the 2020 pandemic and working from home and stuff like that.
Like he probably would have either tried making it earlier, or maybe even not announced it if you didn't think it was going to take this long.
What was it, like last week before? Starfield was supposed to be 11/22/22, right?
Yeah.
So
there's supposed to be a whole thing going on with a lot of these games.
Yep.
And the issue that's the thing about work from home anything is it's difficult, especially if you're developing something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of back and forth that isn't as easy to do not in person, if that makes sense.
And apparently, to his credit, Todd Howard spends a lot of time he's a real hands-on producer.
Yes, it tends to be a double-edged sword with Todd Howard in that way, but it's always gets the job done. Like, at least it releases is the thing.
Right.
There's always a release because of it, and it's an interesting thing because not a lot of game producers are like that.
Yeah. Let's see. As previously mentioned, Portal, the RTX Portal DLC, is coming out December 8th. Now, it also came with a recommended spec sheet that is kind of disappointing.
It's kind of insane, actually.
So for 1080p 30 frames per second, they want RTX 3060 with DLSS2 turned on, and a AMD or an Intel i7 6700 with 16 gigs of RAM. For Ultra, this is Portal, man. This is a Source Engine game.
Yeah.
But for Ultra, which is 4K 60 frames per second, they want you to have a GeForce RTX 4080 with DLSS 3, 16 gigs of video memory, Intel i7 12700K, and 32 gigs of RAM. It's just like, this is... I've seen ray tracing work on the PC.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take this much. Like, it shouldn't take this much to play like a... How old is Portal? 15, 20 years old?
Like, yeah, they had a 360 release. That's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
And because this was supposed to come out, because I found this out recently, that this Portal RTX thing was announced in a way that was supposed to come out in November.
Mm-hmm.
And then so people were like, November is about to end soon, guys. Like, we haven't heard anything about this. So it's interesting that we finally hear something about it. And not only that, the specs are really high, and it's not coming out until this, next week or the week after,
right,
as we're talking, kind of thing. So it's. I think this is probably very disappointing for a lot of those people, because, like you said, this game is a fairly old game. Like, what else would they have done to it? I think outside of the ray tracing, because we've seen them turn ray tracing on to a lot of other games that are much newer without less issues, if that makes sense.
Maybe somebody can explain it to me. Maybe somebody can explain it to me at some point in the comments or whatever. But like, for me, it feels
they
like
must have done some overhaul of some kind.
Like, this minimum spec of a Intel i7 6700 and RTX 3060. I have that, right?
Yeah.
But the idea that it would take so much to run Portal that I could only do it at 1080p 30 frames per second. It's like, what did you do? Like,
there had to have been more to it than just ray tracing at this point.
It really wouldn't surprise me, though, if it turns out that there was like some fuckery. If like once it comes out, there's some fuckery, that we find out that like it's supposed to be a showcase for the 4080 series cards.
I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like something they would do.
So, I mean, 1080p 60 frames per second is a GeForce 3080.
Which is crazy.
For Portal.
Yeah, for Portal 1.
Portal 1.
This is 1. This isn't even 2.
Yeah. Like
Portal 1's not even that long.
I can run Portal 1 on like my 360, like you said.
Yeah, it was a 360 game.
Like the computer that I have right now, it should take literally like I should be able to run like 8 instances of Portal simultaneously, and they should all be buttery smooth.
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's fucking weird. Like,
it is.
They had to have done something to it.
I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe it's something I just don't know.
I don't know.
Speaking of finding out, we found out that the producer for Final Fantasy 16, Naoki Yoshida, is going to be at the Game Awards next week, which means that we're probably going to get a release date for Final Fantasy 16 at the Game Awards, because otherwise they wouldn't actually be hyping the fact that he's going to be at the Game Awards. So
yeah, they have to be showing something off. Like, there's no way. Like if at minimum, yeah, most likely the release date. But I would like to at least see more, trailers for it in general.
Yep. Let's see. Apparently, this is just weird. This headline for this news story is Cyberpunk 2077 sequel pre-production won't begin until 2023. And I'm like, you guys aren't done yet.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It should say it won't begin pre-production until they've completely fixed 2077.
Yeah. So apparently, as soon as they get done putting out, the Phantom Liberty DLC is coming out next year.
Oh, okay.
That is basically their marker to say we're done. That's it. Goodbye. And apparently after that, then they're immediately going to start pre-production. Now, I was a little incensed back there, but it's funny. We've been talking about Cyberpunk for about as long as we've been talking about Fallout 76.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 is a huge success. Like, it sold really well, and it didn't get refunded all that much.
That's the thing, yeah. Everyone, as much as shit as we talked about it over, couple of years now?
Yep.
The game sold really, really well.
They offered full-on refunds on all platforms, and they only had like 10%, like 5%, 10% pickup rate on those refunds, and it was one of the most pre-ordered games in all of gaming history.
Yeah,
like,
it sold a shit ton of copies.
So like I'm not trying to shame anybody here, but like the signal that sends is that it doesn't really matter whether your game is done or not when it comes out. So
what it shows is that it doesn't so much not matter. It matters what your PR does.
Right.
Like, if your PR is willing to take some hits, and it turns out when you do that, you don't actually have to take as many hits as you thought you were going to take, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that happens with a lot of companies where they're like, hey, whoever wants a refund can take a refund. The general audience isn't paying attention the way we are.
Right.
So a lot of them probably didn't even know that was happening. And a lot of them were just like, well, that's $60, $70 down the drain. It doesn't matter. I'm not getting that money back. It's probably their thought process. And then they just move on with their lives. They have too many things to think about at that point. So, yeah, I think it just comes down to PR at this point.
I bet there's also a lot of people who ordered Cyberpunk 2077 who played it, who didn't even realize that it was supposed to, that
there were issues going on.
Yeah, we're all over here like, bah, and they're just like, well, I mean, it's okay, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah, they probably didn't notice their dick was flying out of their clothes, kind of thing.
Right.
Had no idea this was happening.
Yeah. I mean, especially
they giggled and they moved on.
Especially PC players. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of PCs, we got some fun stuff here. This is a really interesting thing. This guy built there wasn't a lot of like super fun stuff, but this guy on Reddit, on the NVIDIA subreddit, built this. There's not a lot of good shots of this, but he essentially built this this computer into a glass table. That where it's like, okay, a glass tabletop, and then on the other side there is a like a glass box, and that box contains the computer, and it literally has like a little fake plant in the middle of it, but it's like spread out, and it's kind of like a big terrarium that kind of has the computer in it.
And it's got a shit ton of fans.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's got a 4090. So like one of these, I think this one back here is all the video card, and it's got liquid cooling on it.
I appreciate how Iron Man themed his desktop is, though.
Yep, not Iron Man. It's got 3 monitors. Michael Emerald got 2 big ass monitors and a TV.
Well,
God
he's got them sideways, so that's how he gets the 3rd monitor.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, this is a really nice setup or anything, but as somebody who has at one time had like a glass desk, I don't want a glass desk. No. They make me real fucking nervous.
Yeah, I once had a glass table that I had growing up, and that thing always made me nervous.
Yep.
Every single time. Especially when I watch a lot of movies where somebody falls into one.
Yep.
And they're like, nope, don't even want to try that.
Well, if you have a one of these, maybe you'll be able to run ray traced Quake.
Ooh.
The same guy that did ray traced Doom and ray traced Half-Life has put out a ray traced Quake mod. It actually works better, I think, because Quake is so much more kind of like horror themed that it, like, by default, it's just everything is kind of dark, and then you've got these kind of like lights that are popping around, and like the particles and everything on the various guns and like the nail guns and stuff. They really light the place up. Like it's really cool looking. Like I at some point I need to see about whether I can try running one of these. Look, you can get Quake ray traced for free.
Yeah.
It'll probably run on your computer
for like less of the power kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is the reason why I think ray tracing is the future of gaming more than graphics, because this makes this game look almost like a brand new game.
It looks like a retro indie game, right?
Yeah. Like ray tracing can make a lot of games just fucking pop in a way you never expected.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I can't wait for this guy to hopefully eventually just run into Duke Nukem 3D and try to ray trace that thing.
Hell, has anybody looked at like throwing ray tracing into like the first PC Halo that came out? Like,
God, yeah, no, I feel like somebody might have looked into it, but I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's working on it now.
Let's find out. We've got a minute.
Because Halo 1 has some pretty amazing sequences that would look great with ray tracing on it.
It might not have enough data, but I think all I'm going to get is like, Infinite, 3, Infinite, Combat Evolved.
Yeah, that would be that's the newer version of it, so I guess that would make sense.
This is kind of a little amateurish. Do we have any movement? Yeah. I mean,
a little bit.
You know.
Yeah, because this is the remastered version of the first one.
Of the first one, yeah.
So
it does look. I mean, like,
it does look kind of neat on a lot of them, though.
It's one of those things where it's just like, who would have thought that just the lighting engine was one of the things that was really making things look better or worse? Like, I think,
that's the fascinating thing about gaming, is that you don't realize how important some of these things are.
Yeah.
To the changes, like, see, okay, that makes it look a lot more obvious, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the issue is either he's already in a kind of brightly lit area to begin with.
Right. Seeing on the. Okay, I was actually want to see it in motion. Yeah, it looks like, looks a lot better.
Right there, it looks really cool.
Again, like ray tracing, lighting plus reflections plus high resolution sample or textures always just can take a thing with good art design and make it look really, really good.
I remember when you showed me one of the first ray tracing videos I'd ever seen with an older game was a Minecraft. It was like a lava area, and it blew me the fuck away. I was like, holy shit. Now this looks like a fucking crazy ass game.
Yeah, I didn't really realize. I didn't really understand like what all was going on there until for a while. So.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we got some posters for The Last of Us.
Speaking of video game adaptations that we talked about in the beginning, The Last of Us is very promising.
Yeah, it looks very gritty. The thing about The Last of Us, I'm gonna try watching it, but it should be clear to everybody in the world who's listened to this show or listened to me that I'm real Last of Us out. Like,
no, I can't blame you, because you actually went through all of 2. I never touched part 2.
Yeah,
because after you were like, I'm super depressed now, I'm like, I'm gonna stay the fuck away from this, because it was the middle of like 2020 when it came out, and I was like, I don't have time for depressing right now.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna stay far away from that.
Play that game all the way to the end.
So I'm just gonna pretend it doesn't exist at this point, because I love the first one so much that I'm like, I don't need more of this, to be honest.
Yeah. Everybody looks pretty good, I think, except for Nick Offerman, who looks just like a weird Nick Offerman.
He kind of looks like he's cosplaying something, doesn't he?
Yeah, kind of. Like his hair and his costume look a little cheaper than everybody else.
It does. I'm sure in motion it'll probably look a little better, but at the poster wise, it doesn't look great.
Pedro Pascal looks pretty good, though.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the podcast. Whew. I got sleepy. I'm sleepy now. I need to go to bed. I need to crawl underneath my stairs or something. Michael, tell the people at home where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. Tessa recently did a review for Violent Night, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
That's the Santa Claus Die Hard movie. that's coming out soon.
There's a Santa Claus Die Hard movie.
Yeah, so David Harbour plays like a Santa Claus who's like kind of losing hope in Christmas. And he's like, one of the trailers shows like he's getting drunk at a bar, and then he goes to like deliver presents at this rich family. But it turns out as he's doing it, they're getting like a bunch of like robbers are there to steal a bunch of money from like their safe.
Okay.
And this little girl who like still very much believes in Santa, like got this present that's like a walkie-talkie that's like a walkie-talkie to Santa. And so he finds it, and she's like, and so she like asks him for help. So he goes full Die Hard.
Okay.
And like to save this family from these terrorists who also tried to kill him too.
Fair enough.
So I'm like, this is a really cool idea.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So check that out. Also, you can check out patreon.com/RageSelect if you want. Yeah. That's it. That's the news. We got another week. Next week it's the Game Awards, so we'll see how that goes.
Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah. Anyway, bye everybody.